All right. Hey there, and we are live. This is the Rookie Corner, and I'm not doing an intro again. It's one of my last few streams of the year. I might have a couple more this year. I got one more going tomorrow scheduled, and I might have a few non-scheduled ones in between now and the end of the year. But I got Robert Willing as my guest today, and why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel, Robert?
Hey, I'm Robert, also known as StarCraft, and my channel is mostly where I talk about comics and other geek stuff, mostly comics lately, but I do plan on branching out eventually. And yeah, I do that a number of times. It's double up words in a sentence, sorry. But as far as anyone cares about my name, I still go by my real name, mostly because when I started up with YouTube and on Twitter and all that, I didn't think much about the about my name and everything. It just popped up automatically, not my screen name, and I'm like, oh, geez, if I'm going to start anything, I might as well just roll with it. It's mostly the Google actually in general that kept my name. It's like, oh,
no,
too late now.
Yeah, that's what you got now, right? Yeah.
Yep. So Robert StarCraft Willing is what I go by.
All right. Well, that's awesome, man. And why don't you tell us? Do you have any goals for your channel for the future?
Just trying to get more subscribers, trying to get more people. At the very least, I want to break a triple digits on my views that doesn't involve having a bunch of girls on a live stream.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. My waifu house stream that I had was great, but that's the only one that's been able to break into triple digits.
Oh, wow. Hey, you'll get there, though. I think getting people to watch a live stream takes a little while. When I was on Bandit Incorporated stream this week, he has over 80,000 subscribers, but only 20 people were watching his live stream. I was baffled. I was like, how is that freaking possible? And I got in easily. He was like, hey, anybody want to come in? I was like,
I was going to ask you, Ricky, how'd you manage to get on the live stream?
Well, first, I guess I'll introduce you guys too. I skipped that part on my bad. So we got Princess Aruka back with us. What's up, Princess? Okay. And hope she's not having Wi-Fi issues again. And then we got Black Angus Reviews. What's up, buddy?
Oh, not much. I just been enjoying some older films, not like black and white shit, but just stuff I never saw. So it's like, technically old, but it's new to me. It's a great thing about shitty cinema for like the last year is it makes you invest in older stuff.
Oh yeah, I hear it makes you look back on the good old days. Like, oh, when quality was there, nice. And then we got at Dawn back with us as well. Mm-hmm. What's up, man?
Not too much, man. Just chilling tonight, enjoying being on the stream. How about yourself?
Oh, yeah, just doing all right, too. I've been so chill these last few days. I just finished up my quarter for school yesterday and feel so good not have to worry about going to school tomorrow. I'm like, I don't have to hurry to do anything. I don't need to get my homework done. I can just chill and work on videos that I want to finish out finally. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to finish some of my videos that I'm working on, but without school in my way, it will seem pretty easy almost. I'm like, this will be a little too easy.
Oh, yeah. And I saw you got the cartoon up today, the stop motion.
The stop motion one. Yeah, I was just fooling around a little bit. I was planning on using, showing my old Star Wars toys in the video at some point, and I was just like cleaning out one of the rooms. Because I took it down from the attic, and I was like, "Hey, thanks, Kitty." And she just jumped on my table, and I was like, I'll just try stop motion thing. Why not? I want to see if I can do that, and just was fooling around. So hope people got a few laughs out of it. And all right, so yeah, Midnight Cherry is also going to be Midnight Cherry TV is going to be joining us in a little bit. He's running a little late, and yeah, he said it's kind of hard for him to schedule streams, but he said he'll be available tonight, so we'll be having him on, and that shall be our full roster. And I'll just say hello to the chat real quick. We got JP4. What's up, buddy? He seems to be looking out for Midnight. And then we got Hallmark Channel Jeremy showing up as usual. And Princess Ruka is here. Obi-Wan Reviews. What's up, buddy? Riot Kitty, Open-Minded Movie Maker. What's up, man? Caitlin, Keeper of the Jeremys. Jedi Rider Gaming. Got lots of people here coming in. Yeah, slowly coming in. So you're asking about. See, I want to talk about him for a little bit. I'll answer the Bandit Incorporated thing a little bit later. So Robert, yeah, you just posted a video today, right, about the political thing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'm reading mostly recent books. I collect a bunch of old stuff, obviously, but all the politics in comics these days have just been, especially at Marvel, completely slanted to the left. It's basically, there's no doubt about it. These people writing there are writing the stories just for the politics, just for the get their message across. Just to basically, the story is written to get the political message across. The characters are mouthpieces. Even if it doesn't fit their characters, they're going to start pontificating on about women's rights or something like that, even though it makes no sense. They're going to start doing some horrible stuff, but it's in the name of a progressive reason that it's A-okay with the rest of the world, and they're all, yay! Well, when I read both Doomsday Clock, that's the event going on with Geoff Johns writing it, that's a sequel to Watchmen that actually closes the door on how Watchmen influenced the DC universe, and Batman White Knight, which is an alternate universe story where Joker becomes good after he's cured. Both of these stories.
Then he goes back to bad again.
Yes, he does, but I'm just trying to point out is that the politics in both of these stories are there, but they basically give you a bit of both sides to it. To the point where, hell, in Doomsday Clock number 8, they had Putin, Russian, from Russia and all that. He's in here treated as an actual man, not a caricature, none of that. He is just a man who's trying to do well by his country. If it was anyone else in Marvel, it would have been an insult because they're like, oh, we got to do Putin. Let's have him do all this stuff.
Yeah, they would have made him seem like a bad guy or something, or like
exactly. Where in this, it was like, as far as he knows, yes, they are being the aggressors, but that's because as far as they know, the America have secretly been all their metahumans, all of their backstories are bullshit. They are all secretly made by the government to become a metahuman army. So, of course, they're going to be like, this is an outrage. How dare you gather up all of these powers and just to make your own army on us? So, yeah, again, he's treated as an actual human being. And it was White Knight, very similar thing. They have it be some people are wanting to stick with Batman. Others are saying the Joker has a good point. Neither side is absolutely right or wrong. Both sides are still making their own dirty mistakes. And what I love best about it is that they let the readers come to their own decisions.
Yeah, which is how stories should be. It shouldn't be, this is the right side, this is the bad side. It should be, as far as comics go, kind of leave it up to you, but I don't know.
Even if the good guys win, I love the stories where it ends with, but did they really win?
Well, and they're not telling you must be a certain political view.
Pre-victory?
Yeah. Yeah, basically something like that, where basically like they won the battle, they stopped the threat, but they lost the message because in the end it's like, yeah, we had to stop it, but they had a very good point. They were just going about it the worst way.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what's great about like the Dark Knight movie is that it's showing you this question of like, what will it take to beat this guy, and is it worth it in the long run for like the cause of justice?
Not just that, but it also, in the case of Harvey, tells you, do you put false faith in someone who is really truly unstable, but they seem to be doing the right thing? Mm-hmm. That's one thing I always know that I don't hear many people talk about with Dark Knight is that Harvey.
Are you talking about like the noble lie of
No. I'm talking about Harvey in general. He was a good man, probably the best the White Knight for Gotham. But at the same time, though, when you really think about the fact that Two-Face came out from all that darkness was there, tells you that really, who knows what else could have brought that darkness out before the Joker did anything.
Right, like it was only a matter of time until that was brought out anyway or something, right?
Yeah, so in other words, they were banking so much on one thing, but at the same time, that one thing, look at how easy he was to corrupt.
Mm-hmm. True, and how easy all the other cops were corrupt.
Oh, that too. There's a reason why they didn't go with Renee Montoya as one of the cops because of what happened with her. That's why some people were confused in the Gotham Knights and the anime stuff. Wait a minute. We have Crispin Allen. Why isn't his partner Renee Montoya? See the movie? Oh, good call. Because Because that was the same character, from the Dark Knight. Was his partner in that in the anime.
Okay, I didn't see the anime one, so I'm not as familiar.
Yeah,
with
it was
that.
meant to be like a in between the two first and the second movie, but it was basically its own thing.
An in prequel or something.
An interquel.
In betweequel. I don't know.
It's an interquel.
Interquel. That sounds good.
No, that's what it is.
Yeah. Have any of you guys read these comics too? Iruka, Angus, or Adnan?
What?
I said, have any of you guys read any of these comics as well?
Oh, well, I only skimmed through White Knight. That was pretty much why I know the ending. I just skimmed through it. I was like, oh, this is cool Batman, but not enough interest for me to actually buy it. As you know, I prefer reading manga or fantasy novels.
Oh, you're one of those types. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I couldn't resist.
Don't worry. I make jokes about that all the time.
That's good. That's
trust me, I don't mind. I love anime too. And I can just say quickly, you're never going to guess what my all-time favorite anime is. No one can guess because it's so obscure.
I'm not even going to guess because we all have different favorites.
Nope. I said it's obscure.
What?
It's
Devilman.
Nope. What? That's not. No, it's more obscure than that.
I have no idea.
No one can guess. I'll just tell you. Saber Marionette J.
Never heard of that one.
Nope. Haven't heard of that either.
See what I mean? Basically, world full of men. Yes, literally, they procreate by cloning each other. And basically, these robots they have there that look based on women are marionettes. That's what they call them. But this one guy named Otaru gains these 3 marionettes that have these things called maiden circuits that make them act even more lifelike and women-like.
Oh my God! It's a harem anime.
Actually, you would think that, but the way it plays out, especially by the end of it all, it's not as heavy-handed on the harem as people would think. It's not a Tenchi Muyo. I mean, yeah, they all are in love with him, but he's the kind of guy who's like, okay, he more rolls with it, but he doesn't really make a decision. And the only time he does, we never know, so it's left up to interpretation. Unfortunately, I'll say this.
So, I make it a point to avoid harem animes as much as possible, even though it's kind of, but it's not really a harem. Yeah, I don't care. Reverse harem, whatever. I'm not. No.
Okay, well, I'll just tell you this. You think that's interesting? None of them marry Otaru at the end. Instead, by the end of it, they found the one surviving female. They're starting to clone her. And at the very, very, very end of everything, there's 2 series and an OVA. At the end of the second series, spoilers, but I don't know anyone cares. The 3 marionettes sacrifice themselves to save everyone. And their spirits go into the clones. And Otaru raises them as his daughters.
Okay, now that's adorable.
It is, but at the same time, it's also a little creepy.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the end, I think that's the best way to resolve it all. Is like, nope, he raises them as daughters instead.
Nice. Well, here I was going to ask you real quick too. So, what are your thoughts on both the Captain Marvel, and the Avengers: Infinity War trailers?
Me? Oh, yeah. Captain Marvel. I'll be honest. I was at first one of those when I first saw. I was like, "Hey, it's better than the first trailer." Not by much.
Japanese soft drinks are the best.
Yeah, but anyways, I say it was better than the first teaser trailer, not by much, but at least in the trailer we get an understanding to why she's so cold. She thinks she's a Kree. My biggest issue is that.
Are you guys still talking about anime harem stuff right now?
No.
Did I jump in at a bad time?
Hey,
Captain
Jerry.
Marvel.
What's up, man?
We got over that. We're now talking about Marvel and Infinity War.
Okay. It's probably the same quality. I mean,
what I was just saying is that I didn't mind the trailer on its own. Like I said, it was better than the first. You see actually why she's so emotionless. She thinks she's a Kree. But what my biggest issue is one, call me a hero. Like she calls herself a hero.
Hero. Yeah.
I know, but the other thing is, it basically looks like, oh, she's going to be the influence for Nick Fury to become the uber badass. He would have become the uber badass without her.
Also, it's not hero, Captain Marvel. You're a heroine.
That is more accurate, Drew.
Oh, don't
And
say
also,
that.
please don't put the her in hero. That's so cringy.
I hate that too.
Yeah.
As far as Avengers, one hot damn, Tony Robert Downey Jr. This would be a great last send off for him, given that one scene alone.
You know, I don't think she can be a hero.
Oh,
Honestly.
yeah, it was Marvel.
Real heroes don't call themselves heroes.
Nope.
Well, you know the thing is like every time I see a good hero in a movie, they usually have that moment where they like smile. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
Hey, like I said, it looks like they might have she thinks she's Kree, and come on, do we ever see any of the Kree smile?
If what you're saying is true, if that turns out to be true, then I think that'll explain it a little better. But yeah, I mean, if anything,
I doubt it though.
Yeah, it's like everyone else isn't happy to be a hero. They do it because they feel they should, because they have the ability to do it, so they're going to.
Exactly.
For example, the main character of Neon
Genesis Evangelion.
Yes! Yes, he is freaking scared out of his wits. He literally acts like me if I would have to be told to save the world.
Oh yeah, he'd be like, fuck no.
Actually, I would be yes, but at the same time, I would be like, oh crap, every decision now is going to be like a guillotine over my head. What am I supposed to do? How am I going to do it? Oh no, oh god.
I like your spunk today, Eruka.
Oh yeah, she's bringing a lot of energy.
Yep. But as I was just saying with Avengers Endgame, one, okay, the title's not bad in my opinion. I was hoping for Annihilation personally, but as far
Come on, Robert, Annihilation.
Hey,
What are we, Mortal Kombat now?
unfortunately, that would have been the downside. But but as I was saying, but the other thing is that again, RDJ's performance was good, and I love seeing Thanos Scarecrow, his armor up. I'm like, I never thought we would see that, but we saw it.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. Because leading up to Infinity War, like I'm not a big comic guy. Movies have gotten me into comics.
Gotcha.
I didn't grow up with it, and leading up to Infinity War, I read not just the Infinity Gauntlet, but I read the like 2 stories before that with like Silver Surfer and then the Thanos quest.
The old school stuff.
Yeah.
I read before you.
Adam Warlock and stuff.
I read before that. Yeah, I read the Life and Death of Captain Marvel. I have that trade.
I don't know about that.
Angus.
I bought Infinity Gauntlet, and it has like all the books that are associated with the storyline. So I like backtracked and made the first 2. But no, like seeing the Scarecrow, I'm like, hey, but that also leaves a plot hole because it's like, wait, didn't he like blow up the ship that he dropped his armor on? Maybe he has multiple sets.
He still has the gauntlet. I don't think the gauntlet was fried like some people think. He probably just used it like make it, but he's like, wait, I don't need it.
He can just shine it if he wants later.
I don't know. I hope that Thanos is only in it towards the end, and I think it's going to subvert a lot of people's expectations who haven't read the story. I think they're going to stick somewhat to it and not actually kill him. He'll be just kind of like they'll come to him and they'll face him, but then it's like, oh, you can fix everything without me. Like you don't even have to touch me.
I personally think. I think
he's going to get off kind of clean as far as like a lot of people that want him. Oh, you killed Black Panther, you killed Spider-Man, fucking die, Thanos. Like it's not going to go that way.
I think it's either going to be.
Hold on. So everybody get
to keep one of my favorite Marvel characters alive.
Yeah. So let's answer one at a time, so there's no talking over each other and stuff. So
sure.
Midnight Cherry, you're gonna go.
Well, I think with the end of, to me, honestly, it's going to be, I feel like everybody that died in the Infinity War is going to be, like, that's who's going to live. I feel like that's a good bet to make, honestly, because I think that's
Heimdall?
Well, I mean, well, yeah, not Heimdall, but I feel like most of your big names that died in the Infinity War are just going to be like they're going to be the ones that actually continue on, and it's going to like the rest of them are going to sacrifice or something like that. It's going to. I feel like that's how they're going to get out of this. Is within the first 25 minutes, it's like, oh, everybody's alive, and all the characters you thought were dead are actually going to be here for another 5 movies.
Are you sure they don't want to subvert our expectations?
I mean, they're going to subvert our expectations anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's Disney Marvel. Like they're going to find a way. But
life finds a way.
Yeah, life finds a way. Exactly.
Life finds a way.
Always.
But
always.
I mean, it also comes down to. I mean, the thing is like the way they did that ending of Infinity War, in my opinion, was like a perfect. It was a way to hedge all their bets because like they can kind of do whatever they want, and it's going to come down to whoever signs contracts. I mean, I've said that before, and like I truly think that like if any of those characters that died don't want to re-sign, then they will stay dead. You know,
makes sense.
But,
well, Spider-Man's coming back because
we got the other movie.
Exactly.
Yep.
But so if I could say one thing quickly, I totally called the ending of exactly what was going to happen before I went into the movie. I called it, but actually because I deduced everything.
Oh, don't you hate that going into movies?
No.
Man.
I didn't. I wasn't so much a kid of spoilers, so much a kid I went in expecting it. But even when I saw it, I'm like, holy shit! I didn't know I was right on the money.
That's my problem with watching movies or reading books nowadays. Is I seem to be like, okay, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. Here we go. And then as I read it, oh, look at this! It's happening the way I predicted.
Well, what made me determine it was one. Given how the book played out, of course, it was going to get up to the snap. But the other thing was I realized, what's the better way to bring absolute closure? Reducing all these numbers back to the original team.
Yeah.
If you're going to do the next movie, have it be the original team with maybe a few here and there, but otherwise focus on what started it all. And the other thing is that really the moment they started saying, oh, this was originally supposed to be one movie split in half. And then they said, oh, no, it's not. It's like, nope, I don't buy that. You have to have an end point at somewhere that's still something definitive that can still lead into the next one. And I got to say, this doesn't feel like they're doing the traditional 2-part trilogy. You know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What if instead they had the Infinity War be the last movie of the main phase and then start the new one without being an Avengers one, where it's like you start with what's left somehow, and it's like have 1 or 2 movies with people trying to figure out what to do now in the universe, and then maybe have an Avengers one later of some kind.
Well,
so
at this point,
just
they can make
in one to wrap it up.
Exactly. See, I think Geoff, it would be cool if I feel like they're going to do something where they're going to do like just a Marvel movie, like it's going to be like Marvel Universe. Like, I mean, I think that's what they're kind of. I could totally see them ending it. And then Captain Marvel's kind of, doing whatever she's going to do. And then them kind of trying to do just like a Marvel Universe movie franchise from here on out. I could see them doing that. I could see them trying that. And then they can just kind of do whatever one-shot superheroes they want to try out. Because right now they're hamstrung by trying to connect everything. And like, I don't think they want that. They want to be able to like have like one main franchise that can trot out every summer. And then like mix in these other things randomly. And it's like they try to do that now, but it's like they still have to spend, 35 minutes of Ant-Man trying to tie it into other movies. You know what I mean?
Kind of like what DC's figuring out to do now, kind of.
They're trying. Yeah, I mean, DC's always going to try something. But to me, my favorite superhero movies are still the DC movies from the original Batman and Superman and stuff like that. So
Adam was Batman.
Yeah.
I gotta say, that's one of the best commentaries I've ever heard.
Yeah. At Don, what are your thoughts on Avengers Endgame?
On where it's going to go?
Or what do you think's gonna happen, or what we're talking about?
I think it's going to be interesting, but I believe we're going to lose Iron Man and Captain America. A lot of the original cast is going to be reset. I think Captain Marvel will play a pretty big part in it.
See, what I'm kind of confused on is what would she be bringing to the table other than power? Like
That's what
the
I'm
Hulk,
thinking.
like the Hulk can't be the leader because he's just the Hulk, and I mean he could be interesting, but not as I'm going to be the guy that you guys need to follow. Hell no. Like so.
They go to Professor Hulk, like some people are suggesting.
I think that'd be too much money for them to keep him as Hulk the whole time in movies.
True.
So I don't think they'd do that.
Yeah, it's going to be Captain Marvel coming in as the overpowered Superman of the Marvel universe.
I think
that's what I mean. Like,
if you doubt that at the moment that
May I ask one question? Where do you guys stand on Brie Larson recently saying, "Oh yeah, she could pick the hammer up"?
Who said that?
Brie Larson.
Well, I think she's just talking. I don't know.
But here's my thing, though.
She's talking out of her rear end.
Actually, to be fair, this isn't the same hammer. This is Stormbreaker. There's no enchantment.
That's a good point.
It is.
So my guess is like, yeah, anyone can pick up the hammer. What makes you so special?
Yeah, technically they did that anyway. It's made out of Groot and all that. I mean,
well, the wood is, and you have the whatever it was made out of for the metal.
Yeah, there's no all-father rules for it. It's just he can pick it up. And anybody else can pick it up,
pissed me off, though. Calling it Stormbreaker pissed me off. That cements it. No Beta Ray Bill.
Well, they could just make Beta Ray Bill's weapon something else. I mean, I don't know.
But it's Stormbreaker.
Where's Thunderstrike? You know what I'm saying?
That's the other. No, that was a different character in Thunderstrike. You remember Blood Axe? He had an axe.
You know, this is kind of a diversion. I'm gonna.
Hold on.
I was talking about this earlier today, but have any of you guys seen an 80s movie, Adventures in Babysitting?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yep. You had Vincent D'Onofrio as what the girls thought was Thor.
Yeah, and so like I just rewatched that movie randomly. I caught like the first like half hour of it, and I tell you, if you haven't seen it in a while, rewatch the first half hour of it. It's one of the funniest things. The brother is making fun of the girl who likes Thor. So clearly Marvel has approved this movie back in the 80s.
Yep, of course. They had to have.
They had to approve this. So there's all these Thor references, all these Marvel references, right? So the little girl is kind of like a tomboy girl, right? And she's got like the Thor helmet. She's got like a little hammer toy. She's like loving life, right? And her brother is like the teenage, like sort of adolescent horn dog, sort of like teenage brother, right?
That's putting it mildly.
Within the first 10 minutes, the brother spends the brother ends up spending 5 minutes making fun of the little girl, calling Thor a fairy, amongst other slurs that you could imagine, right? For like 5 minutes. For 5 minutes, it goes on. Like he's just ripping into Thor, calling him a fairy, calling him this, calling him that, like. And the little girl is just like, no, he's not. Like Thor's great, and it's like, who greenlit that? Like who? Like
to be fair, didn't this come out around the time of The Incredible Hulk Returns? Probably left a bad taste in their mouth.
I mean, it was like one of the most craziest. Like I did not remember that scene, and I was just like, oh my god,
hello, inner child. I'm the inner babysitter. Punch.
All right, well, hold on. So,
it's amazing.
Sith came in here, so what's up, Sith?
Oh,
I assumed you're on. You're doing your finals or something, so I wasn't really sure if you're going to be able to come in or not. So, how's it going, man?
I'm just here to listen.
Oh, are you now?
Yeah, I like to watch, Daddy.
Hey, rookie.
Huh?
I have a bold prediction for Endgame.
All right. What would that be?
All right. So, doesn't matter if Iron Man dies or not. What's going to happen is either this person will assume the mantle for no reason, just because SJW Marvel is here to stay.
Oh no!
Or it'll be passed down. Shuri will become the new Riri Williams.
To be fair, I think she's going to be Black Panther for a little while, because that even happened in the comics.
Yeah.
That would make no sense for her to be Iron Man.
Actually, I could see it happening though, because like they already established that she's like a tech head.
Well, I have to say one thing. Shuri was one of the best parts of Black Panther. I was getting very bored of that movie, but whenever she came on scene with her quips and stuff, and She middle fingered the king.
I say my favorite bit though was her seeing his shoes going, "What are those?" It's just the way she does.
Oh God,
that was the most cringiest
I
for
cringed
me.
out of
You
my
know, it was
body.
cringy.
I call them sneakers. I'm so cool. It's like,
I know, but
fuck you.
I know, but I still found it adorable the way she said that. Though I was just like, "What are those?" You're just like, that felt like something a kid her age would say.
Yep.
Hey, I just want to let everyone in the group know that I am the resident black of this fandom collective. So it's okay if you say Black Panther sucks. It's all right. I'll have your back. It's like
I was so worried. I was so
yeah,
worried. Thank
Black
you so much.
Panther did suck,
I got your back.
but Sherry had to be one of the best parts.
Okay, so Sith, what were you gonna say about how she would make sense to be Iron Man?
Well, they already established that she's like super technologically like talented and stuff, and you know that part where she was like, where they showed that basically she's smarter than Bruce Banner.
Yeah,
blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could totally see her taking up some kind of mantle when it comes to like maybe if not an Iron Man suit, some mechanized Black Panther suit, something like that.
I could see her doing some type of her own suit, maybe, but she would have she has no relation to Iron Man in any way, or his tech, or his company, or the way he does his thing. So, what?
Neither does Riri.
True.
Yeah, but still, I would still think that if what's her face would choose, she wouldn't just go, you know what, I'm going to be like Iron Man, but a chick. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. So
she probably would choose to be Black Panther,
or she'd just be herself. I don't know if can they make new heroes without just going, we need to copy people that are already here. Like, can they? Someone just brought
up. Someone from the chat just brought up. Yeah, and people were giving me crap about Mortal Kombat Annihilation. What about Highlander Endgame?
Whoa.
Yeah, I never got into Highlander.
Yeah, which one is worse? I think Annihilation was. I would give me Annihilation over Highlander Endgame any day.
I say go Avengers Infinity War 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Infinity Crusade.
Deus Bolt.
I suppose. All right, so I think I know that a lot of. Did everybody get to say their piece on Avengers Endgame?
Yeah, I say we move on.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
At Dawn, you say your piece.
Oh yeah, I'm all good. Thanks.
Sith?
I'll just say that probably Captain America is gonna stay alive. I don't think he's gonna die. I changed my mind on that recently.
Okay.
Do you think he's gonna pass the mantle on?
No, I think that. I think he's gonna stay alive, and then maybe I don't know. Maybe Falcon is Captain America for a little while, but I don't think he's leaving, because when he put out that tweet saying like it's been a pleasure in the role, like I'm done, blah blah blah, they don't let you put out a potential spoiler like that unless he's not gonna die, because everyone's gonna assume he's gonna die, you know.
Or he could just be he could just be out of contract, and if they really want him to come in for a little bit, they'll go, here's a grand, and just come in for a sec and be on the couch or something, and we'll let you do it. Just be at your house, or just have a voice cameo or something. You know,
they're gonna leave the character alive.
Oh, hey, I just want to say something to Hallmark Channel Jeremy. That way it sounds genuine to me typing it. I don't have a problem with Shuri being smarter than Banner. I honestly, I think it's kind of a mix. Like, it is kind of the women thing, the diversity thing. But if you know anything about the Flynn effect and the benefit of wealth to a country and its IQ over long term, her smartness makes sense, but it doesn't in the context like, oh, Wakanda is like isolated and they're so rich and smart, blah blah. Sure, it doesn't make sense when you're trying to think like they don't sell vibranium, so what do they make money on? So that's the idiocy of Black Panther.
I was fine with her being smart too. It's just like I just thought that because of that, she's probably gonna be more than just like a supporting role at some point. I really feel like they're gonna go like the CW route, and she's gonna end up a hero somehow. You know.
I personally think that Kevin Feige, give him props. He is a producer that happens to be a comic fan and knows his stuff. It's the reason why he's been able to succeed where Geoff Johns failed. Geoff Johns had some producing stuff, but as a producing assistant, he's never done a full-on production as much as Feige has, and thus great for the comic stuff, not so good for the studios and negotiating. So
I mean, Feige's not
Very
really
true.
around a lot, though. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think he still keeps his reins on such things enough so that he could definitely put his foot down on stuff like when Sony was trying to say, "Oh yeah, our spin-off movies are definitely part of the MCU." Do you still remember that when what's her name was saying how Venom was definitely part of it, and he just gave this, "What the fuck are you talking about? Look at the interview."
Oh wow.
Yeah, I forget the woman's name. She's
hey.
the one who did Ghostbusters, who produced it. Geez, I keep forgetting her name. She was the president of Sony for a while.
Are you doing Pascal?
Amy
Pascal.
Pascal. Amy Pascal. Yeah, do you remember that interview where she's saying Venom is part of it's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he just looks at her like, "The fuck you just say?"
Damn, she had a Kathleen Kennedy moment.
Okay,
Hey,
gotta ask, which one's
Robert.
worse? Who's worse, Amy Pascal or Kathleen Kennedy? You cannot say both.
Kennedy.
Kennedy.
Yep.
I don't know much about what's her name, but I do know Kennedy.
Amy
Hey.
Pascal, Ghostbusters reboot.
Yep. What are you gonna say,
Hey,
Angus?
Robert.
Yep.
I was just going to ask Robert, does he know who, is it Ching Li or Shang Li? Supposedly, Feige announced he's going to make a Shang Li or Ching Li, whatever, some fucking
Shang Li,
Asian superhero.
Silk?
No, the martial arts
Are we
guy.
talking about Mortal Kombat again? Did you say Shang Tsung? What's going on?
No. Shang-Chi.
Mortal Kombat.
Shang-Chi, yeah, they're going to be working on that. That's a legit character.
What do you guys think of the Netflix cancellations?
It was inevitable.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing too big there. But I was going to ask real quick before we move on to a different topic from comics. So this is more for Robert and Midnight Cherry because you guys are more comic guys. Why?
I mean, that's like it's funny that people keep pegging me as a comic guy, but it's,
Well, I mean,
whatever.
people, you seem to be associated with Comicsgate stuff. I see you in chats at least with them a lot.
I know.
In my
Just
head, I see you
FYI,
as
I'm a Jason. I'm a Jason now. I don't know if you knew that.
Okay. Well, so the question though isn't really Comicsgate related, but it's
I
like,
know.
with so in the films, like a lot of people think that the Winter Soldier or Falcon is going to take over Captain America, and somebody's going to take over whatever roles. Why do you think that's necessary? Because I personally don't think that, let's say Captain America and Iron Man go, no one needs to take their place. Like, those characters would be dead and they are their own characters. Like, I don't feel like they need to be, oh, this is another Captain America, this is another Iron Man. What do you guys think?
In the case of Iron Man, you are absolutely right. He doesn't have to be. In the case of Captain America, though, that's the government who owns that. The government owns the net moniker of Captain America. That's why there's been stories in the past where Steve lost it for one reason or another. So the chances are the government would want to keep that going, make sure they still had an icon somewhere to do it. Now, of course, if Tony was still around in that camp, he would try and make sure it would be someone respectful. But if both of them were out of the picture, yeah, chances are the government, especially if they want to make a joke on Trump saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to make sure someone else's cap or something like that. Yeah, they would want to make sure there was still a cap around, at least for an icon, a figurehead.
What do you think, Midnight?
So let me clarify. Let me clarify the question. So are you talking like in movies they try to like in the Marvel movies they're trying to like sort of groom characters into another character? Are you talking about in comics like?
Well, I'm only pointing out because I know that in comics they do that quite often, and I'm saying because a lot of people think that other people will take on the mantles in the films. Like, do you think that will happen, and do you think they should or shouldn't? Like, if Captain America were to be killed, should he be replaced? If Iron Man or somebody else were to be killed, should they have like another Thor? Like, you know what I mean? Like, should they take on a mantle or just be their own characters?
For me, it's kind of like, I mean, everybody's always going to be their same characters. I think for me, like there's only kind of like most of these characters, there's only really like one or a few versions of them, at least even in the comics. You know what I'm saying? Like you have not the nonsensical, like, you know, the modern Hulk or whatever, the Hulk from a few years ago. Like, I mean, you have like other characters, but like when Captain America, Steve Rogers was gone, like he didn't get replaced. And I think that like nowadays everybody needs a replacement because nobody wants to lose out on a money stream, honestly. Because I feel like back in the day, it's like you could have Captain America be gone for a little bit and have like Bucky around, or Bucky die and Bucky become Nomad, and then Nomad becomes Winter Soldier, and like all that kind of like nonsense. Like I think it's kind of built it's built for characters to be their own way, but in modern day, it's like everybody's waiting for like a replacement because everybody wants to see like the new fresh thing.
It just seems so
it's
dumb.
kind of ruined it, you know. And the thing is like I think honestly, it's part of the like I think it's part of like the cocky artist sort of creator type of perspective. Like I feel like I see this a lot. It's like if somebody takes something that they're given, right? So if like you're a creative person, and it's like, hey, you're writing Iron Man, right? And it's like you're the Iron Man sort of like person behind that, or whatever, a movie thing. I feel like yes, you're gonna do the Iron Man thing, but in your back of your mind, you're always trying to figure out like, how can I create my own Iron Man? Right? So like I feel like it gets carried, and it goes from comics where it's like the cockiness is not as crazy as movies. So it gets worse and worse, where now it's like we're gonna see Falcon or somebody become Captain America. We're gonna see somebody else become like that's gonna happen in the movies.
What if going with what Robert said, they assigned somebody brand new of the role that isn't established yet to like be in training to become one of those characters, like a Captain America?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
See that to me is like, I don't know. That just seemed kind of dumb to me.
I figure.
I mean, see, for me, it's like I stopped reading Marvel a long time ago, and I stopped reading Marvel when they tried to push the alternate Captain Americas back in like the 2000s, and I was just sort of like I was kind of like done with them, and there was like a lot of other moments there in the 2000s that turned me off of Marvel. But I feel like DC does it a lot better. I think like the multiple Robins is actually like a well done thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like a way to do that properly.
Oh yeah.
But then I think you have like Iron Man, where it's like, what of these 30 people can we give the armor to now?
See, I would say I would say Spider-Man, but I mean that's only if they wanted to replace Spider-Man, like get rid of Spider-Man and altogether, and have Peter Parker be Iron Man. But
well, it depends.
Iron Spider.
Yeah. It depends, because there's some heroes like Iron Man where like, okay, Tony Stark is Iron Man, he's Iron Man, but there's some characters like Robin, Batman, and Captain America where they're kind of like a mantle in a way, because they're kind of symbolic of something, like they represent something in their mantle. So I could see characters like that, like getting replaced by someone and still being called like Captain America or what have you. But like everyone else, like Iron Man and stuff, if Robert Downey Jr. is out, you don't need another Iron Man character to fill the shoes. Yeah. I think Spider-Man can play that techie genius role well and just fill in the hole if Tony Stark leaves. But yeah, I think that DC does it well because Batman and Robin, like I said, are mantles, but they don't have like 30 Supermen, you know? Superman is always Clark Kent, if that makes sense.
Right.
Actually, that was something that was once done in a Superman Batman annual that was set in the Batman Beyond universe, where Superman showed up. Lex Luthor gave this guy a power suit to make him almost like a new Superman, and Batman Beyond said, after they beat him, said, you can give the suit to someone else. Superman just flinged it away, saying, you have to learn to be Batman. You have to be super to be Superman. In other words, you can learn to be Batman. You can't learn to be Superman.
Exactly.
Well, I think you were talking, Geoff, you were talking about like Peter Parker becoming like an Iron Man version.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things like, and I think this is maybe part like, and this is just a theory, right? And I think part of the issue with like modern comics, right, is like back in the day, you followed, like you were really more or less following the person, right? So like, let's say Peter Parker was doing like Scarlet Spider, or Peter Parker was like, he was now being transformed by Venom or whatever, Carnage or whatever. You were still buying a Spider-Man comic, right? So like the idea of Spider-Man trying on the Iron Man armor, or trying to pick up the Thor hammer or whatever, but like trying to pick up the Captain America shield within a Spider-Man comic is like a cool idea. It's like, oh, that's like a little tale. It's like a little story. It's like a little side shoot. But now it feels like, now it's like, oh, no. Now we're going to actually remove Peter Parker from Spider-Man and make him Iron Man, and then come up with a whole new character and then make him Spider-Man. And like everything's going to be shifted around. So like nobody gives a crap anymore.
I feel like they don't even have to go that far. Like Spider-Man as Spider-Man can fill that like
Exactly.
techie genius role without changing him into Iron Man. That doesn't
Without
make
a
any sense
doubt.
to me, you know.
But I think I'm worried that they're gonna start messing around. You know, I'm with you 100%.
I really don't see it. I think
Whoa,
everyone.
hey.
Marvel.
Yes, but also there's still Hollywood. Hollywood,
Yeah.
say what you will, even though they keep trying to go for these SJW stuff, they're still wanting to get butts in the seat,
Yeah.
make money, and they can't afford. They know more than anyone else. They really cannot afford on big productions to deviate that much. And since they've already seen prime examples of that happening and it bombing.
Yeah, you'd be
Right.
surprised.
Well,
We're pretty early on in Hollywood companies actually feeling any of this.
True.
I mean, there's like Star Wars is a unique case because that's like more of a criticism perspective, but like Hollywood, I mean, like they can throw money at movies for quite a while. I think you're underestimating like how much they do not give a shit about their fans. I mean, I'm telling you that from a movie worker. I'm in the movie union, and I'm telling you straight up, nobody gives a damn. Like it's terrible.
That's
Wait,
interesting.
you work in the movie industry?
I do, yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome, dude.
That's awesome.
In what way, if you can share?
I work with like props and set decoration and designing and kind of putting together sets and stuff like that.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So I gotta ask. So that means if they would ever do a live action adaptation of Batman Damned, you'd probably be the guy who would have to handle if they were to do it a prosthetic Batawang.
I mean, I have seen.
I could always I just got the new issue.
I have seen some dick on a movie set where I was like, I turned a corner, and it was horrifying.
Right.
Like, have any of you guys read the comic Powers by Bendis?
Yep.
So they tried making a TV show. I don't know if you guys heard of that one. It was
I
on
remember that it was
PlayStation
on.
Network
What was
or
it on?
something.
Yeah, please.
Powered or whatever.
Powers,
Powers.
yeah. So I worked on that, and there's like an Eddie
nice.
Izzard. Eddie Izzard plays a character that has like a nude scene, and he was like running down a hallway, and I like opened the door that I should never have opened. So
Hashtag me too.
it was pretty horrific, but I was just trying to go get some snacks, and I was just like, like this is terrible. I was trying to get some free. I was just trying to get some free snacks, and it was just like, oh god, Eddie Izzard, this is not good.
That's cool, man. But Angus, what were you gonna say a little bit ago? You're trying to say something?
Sorry.
That's all good. Or unless he's doing something right now. At Dawn, did you have anything you wanted to add to this too?
In terms of the comics that we're talking about, or in terms of the characters being like retroed and brought forth with new people?
Yeah.
I think I agree with Robert that I don't think they'd be willing to take that chance, Hollywood. I could see it happening to an extent, but I don't think there's going to be major changes because I think Hollywood, they like to play it safe and they want to maximize the profits, and they can't go veer too far off course because if they do that, then people aren't going to go see it because the hardcore fans are going to know what's going on, the idea of what's going on, but a lot of the general audience is going to get left behind.
Exactly.
They're gonna do it as much. They're gonna do it until they can't.
Yeah,
exactly.
Until they run the well dry, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're just going to keep
good point.
trotting out the same idea over and over again until it's done.
Yep. Angus, what were you gonna say before?
Yeah, I was gonna say that I'm not sure if any of y'all are following the Into the Spider-Verse hype, but last I saw, critics have given it 100%. There's always people saying it's like the best Spider-Man movie ever, etc. That it has a Spider-Man for everyone. And I'm someone who, like, my first Spider-Man I read was Miles Morales, like the original run. I went to the library, checked out all 3 volumes. I liked the first volume, but then I realized why people hate it because it's just a diversity scam. They change the skin to essentially a Peter Parker clone, and then they bring in 2 different Peter Parkers to keep you interested because he doesn't hold his own character. That being said, I think given the success to be anticipated with this Spider-Verse, and they already got 2 sequels lined up, plus the Venom-verse is building up. I think Sony has the ball in their court, but Marvel still wants to keep Spider-Man in the fold. So I think they will acquiesce to some degree with Spider-Man with Sony. So I could see them doing your plan with Iron Spider-Man or whatever, and bringing in Miles Morales somehow. It would get a little weird, but you have Doctor Strange, you got Captain Marvel, you got Thor right now to introduce these weird avenues, along with the Guardians for different dimensions. Plus the Fantastic Four is in question,
We
and
still
you
need a
have
good Fantastic Four movie.
you have the Russo brothers hinting that they want to do a Secret War movie.
Man, that'd be awesome.
So I think given the success to be anticipated, I think they are willing and maybe even planning your kind of idea, and I think it would work with keeping Spider-Man in the fold by having Miles Morales live action jump into the MCU.
Though. Here's why I don't buy that, because Spider-Man, Peter Parker's 15 in the MCU. He's only 15.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
How would they sell that? Like, oh, at 17 he gives up the mantle to Miles Morales, who's 5.
I would also say this. As far it's a different question, but something similar. You just mentioned the Russo brothers want to see a Secret Wars. How did it say that the DC TV shows are now ramping up to Crisis on Infinite Earth before the movies ever got there?
I'm not watching this season.
They just finished Elseworlds, and they're now building up towards Crisis on Infinite Earth.
I don't know.
Hey, people are loving the Elseworld episodes.
That's the thing is I'm just not into those DC TV shows as much.
I like Arrow, but that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, Arrow's good.
I mean, I think most of them were good for a little bit, but
mainly because Arrow reminded me so much of original Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Really? He reminds me of Batman.
Then again, that could be the main reason why I like Arrow.
Probably.
Because I'm a fantasy geek. I love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yep. Indeed.
I can't do those shows. They feel cheap, and I don't mean like they just don't have enough money for like CGI or something. Like they feel just cheap quality to me. Like
I
definitely gimmicky.
Punisher and Daredevil were like the only things that like went against the grain for me with superhero TV shows. I don't know, but that's my take on it. It's just like I don't know. Shows are meant to just keep going on.
Are very very low money.
Yeah, the choreography is very it's obvious in the choreography that just like, okay, why are you guys spinning so much? Like, relax.
Well, and it seemed like in the beginning there was a point, and now it's just, well, we still have to continue, right? Okay, so here's this now, and it just seems more pointless. They could have ended the whole, at least the Arrow part, like by season 3, and then maybe he could cameo in the other show sometimes, and I don't know. It seems like there's too much to keep track of, and I have no desire to sit down and get caught up on everything going on.
And don't get me started on Titans.
Huh?
Don't get me started on Titans on where that might fit.
I don't think that's in the same universe.
No, but same producer.
Huh.
And then you have the Vixen and the Ray animated stuff.
Oh, Vixen is good. I like Vixen.
Does that count in the main series?
Yes, it does count because it's the same actress. It was done intentionally to set it up because she was too busy acting on other things. So they decided to do it animated because she could still do her voice. And then she came into Legends of Tomorrow when she was ready.
I hate Legends.
That confused me so much. They already had a history, and I'm like, what happened?
Of all the shows, Legend is like the most cheap and gimmicky.
Yeah, but I gotta say, some of the characters they at least brought in, some of them were not bad. I love the fact that Rory was Rip Hunter.
Yep, that was pretty cool.
I'm like, oh, and Rory decided to change his name and take up what the Doctor did, huh?
Oh man,
exactly. But all right, I think we talked about comic stuff good enough for a while here. So I know that not everybody always wants to talk about it, but most people do want to talk about it every now and then. So Star Wars. What hasn't been talked about with Star Wars?
Everything. Everything has been talked about.
Really?
What we were doing the other day was on the Rants channel was talking about how we would have maybe started the prequels, like where like Attack of the Clones, if everything happened in the Phantom Menace the way it did, and then you start the Attack of the Clones, what would happen pretty much throughout the movie a little bit. And, I don't know if that'd be a fun type of what if question, or if we talk about expectations for the sequels or episode 9. I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about?
How about this? How about we talk about how we would fix episode 9, like how we would go about episode 9 after The Last Jedi?
Ooh.
Well, I've personally talked about that a lot, but I would like to hear you guys, I guess, if you guys want to.
I got to think on that one.
Iruka, you didn't. I forget. Did you watch them, or did you try to stay away from them? I forget.
Which movies?
The Star Wars sequels, The Force Awakens, Rogue One.
Okay, I watched the first one, The Force Awakens. After that, I was like, nope.
Yeah, you ran away. I remember. Yeah, which was a good move. Very good move.
The best advice is to not make episode 9.
I have to agree. I saved myself some good things. Even my dad, who brought me to see The Force Awakens, was with my sister. He didn't invite us for the next movie, and he loves Star Wars, so it's kind of like,
damn.
What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
His childhood movies, then you know something is wrong.
Hey, Rookie, did you see that article that's going around saying that it had Rey as the cover, and it was like, female leads aren't ruining your movies. They're actually doing better than male leads in box office.
Yeah, sure. Try and prove that for real.
Every single like example they'd use to like show that female leads are the most popular thing are additions to an already existing franchise.
I knew it.
Well, I just kind of I heard about that and ignored it, because I feel like now they really just try to push that out there to get more attention, because we all react to it, and they know that we've been reacting negatively to that type of attitude. And it's like, it's funny how they still think that like they think that we don't want women as the leads in the movies, but it's like we just want good characters, honestly. And
nobody ever made the argument that if the lead happens to have a vagina, then all of a sudden the movie sucks. Nobody's made the argument ever.
Exactly.
It's
Some
like
of the best action movies of all time have had, Terminator, Sarah Connor, Alien. Like in the time of like non-PC 80s, like you had like Cynthia Rothrock. I don't know if you ever watched any of her action movies. She was like a female sort of Chuck Norris character. But she made all these like B-movie action movies where she was just kicking ass, and there was just like gunfire and explosions and kung fu.
I hear a Chuck Norris.
It's female Chuck Norris. Look up Cynthia Rothrock if you want like a good 80s action movie. She made like a ton of them, like military. But she was like a hot blonde. You know what I mean? But like, at least in my opinion. But the whole thing is like, people don't care. Just don't don't make it. Like, could you imagine if Sigourney Weaver in Alien walked around like at least 15 minutes and just like bitched about like being a woman and all these guys around her? Like people would just like it would. Can you imagine? Like, I just watched Alien the other day, and it was like the first one, and she's just she's normal, like everyday part of the crew. Like it's not even anything.
So funny thing is, when I had my stream a while ago, I forgot who, but someone brought up how originally they wrote most of the roles without the genders in mind right away. In fact, she had a audition for the role of Dallas and just got it. So originally, that's part of the reason why it worked. And they were auditioning for roles that, and they decided, let's put them there, which makes you wonder, do you really think they would have put, if they had a guy, they would have done the underwear wearing bit? Okay, maybe for the ladies, but... You know what I'm saying, right? Do you really think they would have done that?
I don't know. Sorry, I'm responding to the chat a little bit. That's what
when I heard that, I'm like, really? And then I'm like, you know what? I could kind of see that, actually, that they went in like that.
Yep. Iruka, what's your opinion on on this stuff as our token female of the group for tonight?
So, on first night?
Or I was saying on like women leads, I guess.
I like them, but they have to be well written. I hate the fact, You're a woman. We're strong. We have no problems at all. Me. Okay, so womanly functions don't count. Trouble thinking if a boy likes us or not doesn't count.
Oh, they got to pass the Bechdel test, don't you know?
Dealing with actual problems doesn't count. And then you make us into a Mary. Damn it! I want a good female character.
Well, I think part of the issue too is whenever they say this is a strong character, this is a strong female character, that already just makes us approach it in a bad way because they're telling us that it is, and it's like, let us decide what the character is, and if she's bad, she's bad. If she's not, she's not.
Exactly. Look at Trinity, for example, in The Matrix. And she was like the one character everyone really loved, and yet she's not the star, she's not the focal point, she's just the girlfriend, yet she kicked ass.
Yep.
Exactly. What are your thoughts at Don or Angus?
Well, for me, I'm not a woman. I'm the other half of the gender spectrum, and but being black, and I watch Black Panther, like that movie really is a thorn in my side because all the problems you see, and then you look at the critical review even a year later, it's still at like 97%, and it's like. There's this idea, I guess, in like anthropology or history or something about like, there's the white savior idea that people demonize movies like Dance with Wolves for, but there's like a real complex that seems to be part of like liberal whiteness of like, oh, you're, like you don't really have black filmmakers that make good stuff or big stuff, so let's just give them a handout and prop them up because yay, black people, you made a movie. It's like giving little kids accomplishment awards for existing in
the
school.
Participation trophies.
Yeah, participation. It's the same idea, and it's infantilizing. It's like instead of telling fat people, and I'm a fat person, instead of telling them, hey, you need to lose weight or you're going to die early, it's like, you're just a diverse body type, and and they reword it's the same shit, and as a black guy, I hate this stuff, and what's funny too is all these SJWs, they get behind Black Panther because it made over $1 billion. These same people don't even know that Moonlight, a movie 2 years ago, won the Oscar, and it's full of black people, but no one saw it because it's not, no one was pushing it because it's about it shows the clash of two minorities of gay people and black people. They don't fuse well because black people are very churched, and it's very fire and brimstone churching, and if you're gay, you're going to hell. So they don't mix, and so no one propped up Moonlight as this great movie, even though it really is, and it talks about something essential instead of just taking the superhero archetype and painting it black and being like, yay, you're a champion now. It's like, they're African, they're not even for us.
You know what I found weird was how they had this whole campaign about like, oh, it's history, witness history. There's a first black superhero on screen, and I'm just like,
Meteor Man.
What about Blade, Spawn? Like what?
Like I said, Meteor Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, I gotta go do something real quick, so you guys just talk among yourselves for a few minutes. I'll be right back.
I mean, Spawn, Meteor Man. Spawn. I mean, Meteor Man is amazing. I don't know if you guys have. I mean,
the only thing I ever saw of that was the ads I had in old comic books I collected.
Oh man, yeah, it came out I'm looking at it now.
I know so many actors. I do always remember seeing the cast list on that. It was like, whoa.
No, it's a great movie. It's like an all black. I mean, Bill Cosby's in it. You got some crazy ass cast in that. Mm-hmm. But
Bill Cosby before Me Too and everything.
He's got a real small part in it though. But you had like
Bill before the pills.
Yeah, I feel like either. Oh man, I'm gonna look it up now. But it was either like Cypress Hill or something like that. There was like a bunch of rap groups in it. It was like crazy. Yeah. But it was like a small time superhero movie. But it was amazing.
Yeah, it was its own original thing.
Yeah, it was its own.
How about Steel?
Steel
that should have. You know what? Seriously.
I like Steel. Steel should be like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing now. Like
I'll tell you.
I don't know why it's not.
Yep, I'll say this. The fact that they could not, even the comic adaptation, they had the original creators of Steel, Louise Simonson and John Bogdanove, couldn't salvage the comic adaptation. What does that tell you?
A lot.
Yeah, they couldn't salvage it. That tells you how bad it was. And the funny thing is, it's loosely based off of their opening arc of their Steel ongoing. Very loosely. There wasn't a chick with the wheelchair, I can tell you that.
I think, did Spawn come out before that?
Same year,
Spawn came out
roughly.
the same year, something like it came out right around that too.
Oh yeah, that's the other. Oh, that was. At least you had a great actor playing Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just like CGI just wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, I liked Michael Jai White.
Yeah.
Yeah, are y'all, Robert? Are you excited about Jamie Foxx being the new Spawn?
I think that's actually a surprising choice.
See, I was actually thinking to him, like, if it wasn't, it'd either have to be like a no-name, like an unheard of black actor, or it'd have to be, I think, Jamie Foxx, because Michael Jai White's already done it, so it'd be weird to recast him in this like new adaptation. Bozeman is Black Panther. Other famous black guys that everyone knows are like too old to play the role. Like Denzel Stewart to be the Black Green Lantern.
Idris Elba.
And so I was like, well, after Baby Driver, I was really down for Jamie Foxx to do a bad guy, or not a bad guy, but like someone with like a lot of dirt in their history.
I actually worked on Baby Driver. Jamie Foxx.
Didn't he play Electro? Remember that shit?
Yeah.
You know what
I was getting
I
that
think
mixed up with Spawn.
You know what the movie that I think he would make it prove to me that he would be perfect for Spawn is? Collateral.
Ooh.
When he,
I
but
fucking
specifically
love
the
that
point
movie.
when he's acting like Tom Cruise's character and he's trying to act like the tough guy. That point right there, especially when he turned around like, tell him to take that gun off before I rip or whatever. You're just like, oh. Once I saw that he was cast, I'm like, if he does that, he's perfect. I love Collateral. That is up there, one of my favorite movies. You guys want to know what number one is?
What?
Sure.
It's specifically the international cut, Leon the Professional.
It's a good one. It's a classic.
That is my number one favorite because I
actually don't like the international cut as much.
Really? Let me guess. The squickiness?
I never heard of that.
It's the Professional.
Gene Reno and Natalie Portman's first movie.
It's a great action movie. It's got Natalie Portman. It's Natalie Portman's like one of her first movies.
It is, yeah. And then Gary Oldman in one of my favorite roles for him, especially that classic bit of "Bring me everyone." Oh, what do you mean everyone?
But yeah, I mean the basic premise is it's just it's from the writer director of Fifth Element.
And La Femme Nikita, yeah.
And La Femme Nikita, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And but basically it's a hitman and sort of a teenage Natalie Portman, and they're sort
That's
of
always
like
up in
stuck
the
together in like in an action movie. But I don't want to ruin it too much. But it's a great film, great classic from like the '90s, early '90s.
Yeah, the international cut. There's basically she's in love with him, and even though Natalie Portman was really young, she claims she's older, and it's never proven one way or the other.
Yeah, it's basically just a little more French.
Mm-hmm.
But it was great. I guess I find very little flaws with that movie. The acting, the story.
I like
so,
La Femme Nikita.
A lot of classics to catch up on.
Yep. I guess we diverted so far from Star Wars.
No, well, that's all good. That's fine. We don't need to talk about it. I just figured if anybody had anything to bring to the table, go ahead. But I mean,
if I was ever to do anything, I would have just simply gone with the adapting the Thrawn trilogy for the sequel trilogy. Obviously they can't do it because the actors are too old. I get that, but they could have taken some elements from it.
I will throw this out there, Jeff, is a real quick, just a Last Jedi moment, which maybe you guys will appreciate because I'm sure we all don't like that movie. But my mom and dad, they're both like 70, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're at the house, and I'm talking to them on the phone, and they're like, oh, they got the Star Wars movies on Netflix. And my dad's like, so what is this Last Jedi? Is this any good? And I spent like maybe 60 seconds, like maybe 90 seconds. I mean, it's less than 2 minutes, and I'm just like, and I just kind of begin to start to tell the story of Last Jedi, and I'm just like, yeah, you got like old Luke Skywalker, and he doesn't want to be Luke Skywalker anymore, and he's just like, really? And I'm like, yeah, and he's just like, eh. And my parents are like, nah, we're not gonna watch it. All they had to hear about was Luke Skywalker being turned into who he got turned into, and they're just like, not even gonna watch it. Like we're 70 now. Like they're older. Like they're more of like. it cracked me up. I mean, I was just like, and this is why Star Wars. This is why they failed. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I mean, my dad would have found it out anyway. 30 minutes into the movie, he'd have been just like, "What is this shit?" Or whatever. You know, I mean, like, but just him talking to me for 60 seconds, he was just like, "What happened? Really? I'm not gonna watch that crap."
Hey, Cherry, it's funny because when you're telling me this, it brought to mind Palpatine. I can just hear him say, "Have you ever heard the tragedy of the Last Jedi?"
Do you know the tragedy of the Last Jedi?
That would be pretty funny. It was a horrible mistake. They thought it would be awesome and rock the world. Oh, they were wrong.
They had a plan, but then they brought in someone who tossed it away for his own better idea, completely negating everything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's almost a year. It's almost a full year later. And like, what, 2 days, 3 days, it'll be like a full year since it came out? Or was it the 15th?
I think it came out, or 15th.
5 days or 20th? I don't remember.
17th.
17th.
That's what I thought.
And I'm actually surprised it's still even on our tongues at all. Did we talk about Rogue One that much or Force Awakens that much?
Force Awakens, yes. Last
Rogue
Jedi.
One, I actually
Rogue One,
liked.
no.
I liked Rogue One. I personally thought, for what it was, even though it got rid of one of my favorite expanded universe stuff, Dark Forces, the game, it was still a good story that I can't believe they ended it the way they did.
I like the ending.
I think the ending is what saves it for everyone.
Exactly.
Both Vader and the fact that everyone died, even though it was so obvious. I think people like myself kept expecting, no, they're going to survive. We just never hear from them again.
Yeah, exactly. You felt like there was like real stakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And there was. Again, we knew it was a set ending, you know. Obviously, they get the plans, but let's be honest. I think this is the most awesome we've seen Vader be since. I can't.
Fight with Luke, maybe.
What?
I don't know. Since his last fight with Luke, or
yeah.
I think overall it was a good movie. I think the thing that it suffers in some people's eyes is the pace, that it's a lot slower.
Yeah. It's so boring.
Some parts of it, yeah, exactly. I think Gareth Edwards wasn't the right director to assign to it. Some things he brought to it in terms of the detail and they're honoring the canon, amazing. But in terms of his pace, he usually tends to build upwards, and then you get there. Where Star Wars is supposed to be like a space opera. You're supposed to be like right on that roller coaster from the beginning, from the word go.
Yeah,
but then we got The Last Jedi, so that's.
I think Rogue One, like the first time you watch it, this is the problem with all new Star Wars, is that it's reliant on your intrigue of how this story will tie into the original trilogy, because there's space in between, and so you're trying to see like how it connects, and so you're really focused, and so you don't pay attention to the flaws the first time. Like the only really flaw I had the first time I saw Force Awakens was the a little bit of the pacing switching up between the three main characters and the humor to start with, but then it's like everything's going too fast. The only pause was Maz Kanata's cantina. And with Rogue One, it's kind of like ping-ponging across the galaxy like a pinball machine. But then, like, you know, you watch it the second time and it's like you see how bad the pacing is. So like it's none of the movies, and this is what I ask, this is like probably the main question I ask the like clearly SJW fans that try to like throw something back at you about why you hate new Star Wars, like you just hate it because women or this or that, and I throw back at them like, all right, besides, you know, like, what is the rewatchability of any new Star Wars movie? It all tries to go back into the original trilogy. That's the whole hook to it. But once you see it, there's no rewatchability like episode 1 through 6. You know, you can go back to these points in time and these places in the galaxy and be entertained with the Colosseum in episode 2, or Maul's fight in episode 1, or even if you like Gungans and Padme, like my wife, she loves just seeing that from being a kid, or, you know, even the original trilogy, even though they didn't have like huge budgets, they still have like unique settings, the palace, Cloud City, Death Star, and that's the problem with these new ones, is like there's no real imaginativity.
Well, we got Octo.
Well, also not just the creativity. There's like truly epic classic scenes that you want to go back to, you know?
Yeah, we want to revisit them, see them again, see some action scenes, whatever. And the new ones, their best action scenes were what?
Like, well, I mean, if you watch the movies in chronological order nowadays, when you get to Force Awakens, it is a bit of a slap in the face, more of a cold water in the face. But then by the time you get to Last Jedi, it is a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Like you
It feels like a reboot. It feels like a soft reboot.
I feel like Force
if
Awakens.
you watch them like for me when I watched them in a day, just like, all right, let's do this, and I would just watch them all straight through. When I got to that, I was just like, meh, like it did. But when I got to Last Jedi, I was like actively upset at it. I was just like, wow, you really just ruined the previous like 7 movies. Like it was. I don't know. That was me, at least.
It was more innocent, at least. The Force Awakens was a more innocent insult than the Last Jedi. It was like it was trying to please, and it was trying to please as to where the Last Jedi was trying to displease.
Yeah, exactly. But I get, I want to say, I wish I could see whatever that script or whatever that or plot that
AJ.
that JJ had I want to know what he had planned out that Rian Johnson just tossed. Like
he didn't have anything planned. I mean,
I don't.
He actually had
Luke
Skywalker in it.
They did say he had a plan because that's the reason why the guy who did Jurassic World walked away because he's like, you're not giving me much left. This is not what the plan was. Why are you doing it? I was planning things out. Wasn't it funny though how people tried to blame him by saying he was hard to work, impossible to work with on set, and the only reason why he didn't get fired from Jurassic World was because Spielberg picked him and no one wanted to question Steven. You remember how people were doing that time when he left?
No.
Smear campaign?
Yeah, they tried to do that, but they long since stopped it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't really heard about it, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was right when he got the boot or when he walked away.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
he came out and said like, well, I wanted Leia and Luke, and there's none of that. So
Well, there was Luke, but he couldn't do anything about that. And not Luke, Leia.
Wait,
But the
Angus,
thing
he
is,
actually-
I think with the way J.J. Abrams, I honestly think the way J.J. Abrams treated the Han Solo death, I think that I think Last Jedi he would have, I think would have boned up some stuff pretty badly, honestly.
Yeah, even if
He would've got too
Mr.
creative with
wanted
himself.
out, the death would have been so much better.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I can everyone agree on this though that the guy playing Kylo Ren so much better at doing an Anakin character than Hayden Christensen. Although to be fair, probably because JJ, at least with JJ, much better director at getting that type of stuff out of his actors than Lucas.
Disagree.
Really?
Yeah, okay, let me ask you this then. So the way Luke went out in Last Jedi. So let's say J.J. Abrams does Last Jedi, and then Rey, like Luke, like sacrifices himself to save Rey. Is that any better?
No.
Yes.
It depends on how
It's a split. I mean, that's a split. Because in my opinion, it's not any better. But to me, that's I think what JJ would have done. It would have been something along those lines.
Well, I think it's better because for one, he'd actually be there, and two, that's totally something Luke would do.
I agree with that. I was going to say
That's
still
in character.
I'd say no. He just met Ray, and he's gonna just go. Nope. Well, I guess I'll just leave it all with you, and I only known you for a day. I think.
Well, did he technically do that? Well, no, you're right. Technically, what he did then in the movie at least got everyone out of there, and at least gave him a moment with Leia.
I mean, what I'm saying is that it doesn't improve or it doesn't increase or decrease anything if he's there or
It's
not.
just the same. Yeah. See, that's what I feel like J.J. Abrams would have done. It just would have been different. But I don't know, because like even though I think he like Mr. Magoo'd The Force Awakens more so than like Rian Johnson did, I think that J.J. Abrams over time, if you look at his career, like when he gets a little bit like gets his ego and like a little bit stroked a little bit, he starts doing some goofy stuff. Right. You know, it's like I think with everything you look at he's done, it sort of started out somewhere, and then it's just like he got it and he drank his own Kool-Aid, and then it was just like he's doing some dumb stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge J.J. Abrams guy.
JJ is really great at like setting up a mystery and like intriguing you with questions. But the only problem is he's so good at it because he just asks questions. He has no idea what the answers are. And then he tries to fucking freestyle the ending, and it always comes up fucked like Lost.
So pretty much he's like M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah,
But see, I like M. Night Shyamalan.
No, do not crap
I
on
was
Night
using
Shyamalan.
that as a joke. I like him too, but some of his
I know
movies
Angus
are
is a fan.
I liked Split.
I like Split too a lot.
I have Split, have not watched it yet.
I like Banana Split.
Let's see. My favorite M. Night Shyamalan is probably one people don't like. It's The Village, mainly because it has that
Dumb ending.
monsters and
I
stuff.
like The Village. I mean, the thing is like I don't know. The Village and Lady in the Water aren't bad. I mean, I didn't like Signs,
love
but yeah.
I feel like we should talk about directors and their movies one of these days for talking about them as a segment idea. But I think
since we got Robert and Cherry here, I want to offer my idea that you can't. The way Last Jedi is gone, there's no salvaging Episode 9 because like I like what Ricky. I think Ricky brought this up before that. Before the idea was the Force being balanced meant destroying the Sith. But then Johnson, in a move I think is interesting, but did not pan out well, by making Rey the embodiment of the light, as a balance to Kylo. It's like, well, if this is the case, then what is the point of Snoke trying to kill her? Because then another person is just going to pop up in her place, and if someone kills Kylo or Snoke, someone's going to pop up in their place to balance it.
Yeah,
so it's going to be
in carbonite or something to just keep them out of the way, if anything.
Yeah.
It becomes the last Avatar situation.
They've rendered Star Wars. They've rendered the hope of Star Wars, where even if, like me, I love the dark side, I love Vader and Maul, etc., and I was into Kylo when he first came out. They've rendered it void of meaning now, because it's like, well, now there's no reason to root for the good guy because all of his accomplishments will be null and void.
And also, it contradicts the prophecy of Anakin, because it's like, if the Force can balance itself, why does it need somebody to balance it?
Why is there a prophecy in the first place? And
Well, to be fair, people kept. That was one thing I always found people said about what the prophecy and bringing balance is. They kept thinking, "Oh, that meant wiping out the dark side." How is that balance?
Yeah,
that's not balance. That's basically one-sided. Oh, it's all light side. I think that's why Lucas did a good job of showing us the light side ain't perfect either.
Well, I thought that's what he did anyway. Anakin pretty much leveled the playing field.
Exactly, down to a
handful each, and that's pretty balanced now. But
and that's one thing I liked. That's another thing I did like in the novels and comics was they actually had to be where eventually when Luke decided to change the rule that they originally said that a Jedi cannot wed or have a loved one. But we have changed that because we are finding a way to have balance, partially so he can marry Mara Jade in the comics and novels. But at the same time, though, it made sense that version of Luke was actually, growing and saying, like, I will improve where the Jedi faltered, the old Jedi faltered. But then in Last Jedi, nope, he fucked up at once and then he left. I mean, seriously, I like to bring up the books. If they ever read the Jedi Academy, that Luke would have ended right there the moment that one student of his blew up a whole star, a whole system.
Yep.
And yet he kept working.
See, that's the thing.
It.
I wish I knew more extended universe, because for me, it's like I've got like the movies, the cartoons, all the various like shows. I would say like all the this holiday special and whatnot. But then it's like Thrawn trilogy and then Knights of the Old Republic. And that's essentially like it for me. It's like everything else I just sort of like looked at casually. No, it's like I don't know. For me, it's I don't know. I think Star Wars, this modern Star Wars, is not salvageable. I think I have to agree with that.
There's only one way.
I always want to give hope. I always want to believe there is some bit of hope. Even the
But hope died when Luke died. Like, that's the whole thing.
That's
like the embodiment of hope. The embodiment of hope.
It's no longer a sequel
being a
trilogy.
good person.
It's no longer a sequel trilogy. It's just the new guys.
Yep.
Any last thoughts at Don?
Just further to what they were talking about, if they were gonna kill Luke, it should have been in episode 9. So I don't think there's any way we're gonna save episode 9, because then if they wanted to move on to other movies, they could have expanded on the Rey character or the Finn character or the Poe character, but you don't have that moment in the middle movie and then try to salvage it in episode 9. I don't think we're gonna get anything worthwhile. I think it's gonna be a super safe movie where Ren comes back to the light, and then we live happily ever after. Unfortunately, I think we're getting Reylo, but that's just my theory.
I don't think they're gonna bring Kylo to the light and let him live.
No.
Yeah, I agreed there. He might end up dying, but I think he will turn.
You know what my dream was? My
What's
dream
that?
scenario was, by the end of episode 9, Luke is betrayed by Rey. And then Kylo sees that and he comes back to the light. And then we go into a new trilogy where the roles are flipped.
Oh, yeah,
where now Kylo's the protagonist and Rey's the villain.
Yeah, I would love it.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be different.
It'd be fresh, yeah.
I hope they reveal Snoke is somehow still alive, maybe in one of them.
See, the thing that with Snoke that people don't get is that he wasn't important, but the fact that he's the main key that connects between the movies somehow, and they don't explain why they made that important. If they said somebody else caused this, or a group of people collectively formed the First Order, then convinced Kylo to come over, and he's just the Sith over there, that would be different. You wouldn't need to have any huge backstory, but because they said that he's been around for a long time and that he's got this dark force power after the 2 main ones were killed, and then he's just here and he rose, they make it important, and then they just no, he's just dumb. And it's like, no, you can't just skip. Like if I were to just destroy a field like with anti-weed spray or anti-grass or something, so no grass should grow, and then I could come back in a year and it's like a blossoming, you'd be like, how the hell did that happen? Like, did somebody plant it there or what? Like, what happened?
Exactly. And to put it simply, to understand the First Order, you have to understand Snoke, and it's as simple as that. But go ahead, Robert.
There's always these rumors going on that apparently they're going to, some people think they're going to bring Mara Jade or Thrawn into it. Do you think even that could salvage anything, or do you think that's
too late? It's too late.
Yeah.
Well,
they might make an interesting scene, but that's it. Total. Just
I say they bring Mara. She better not be in name only. That more than anything they've done next to what they did to Luke would make me riot, because Mara Jade and Thrawn are my 2 favorite characters, and they've done great with Thrawn.
I could see them doing a side movie with them, though, like a Rogue One solo type movie with them.
True. Well, I'm not saying do them together. They'd be opponents, of course. But Mara Jade, I love Mara Jade. She's one of my favorite Star Wars characters. And if they bring her in, I'd be happy. If they fucked her up, I think I would just generate Sith lightning out of my fingers if they did that.
You know what I was thinking is because I was reading the chat and then somebody was talking about Disney will never. Mr. Pete was saying Disney will never make Rey the villain. But you know what I was thinking? Like, think about how powerful the villains are in Star Wars, and think about an overpowered Rey as like the new Darth Vader, on how absolutely terrible and nightmarish that would be.
That was my theory after The Force Awakens. Like, I thought there was going to be a twist where it's like, it turns out she killed Luke's students and he erased her mind and isolated her on Jakku or some shit like that.
If they have some type of backstory like that, maybe. But as of now, she's still an uninteresting character. So then if she was a villain, she'd just be an uninteresting, powerful villain.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be so bad.
I mean, it would just be, it'd have to work with her. Her character would have to be cool or something, because she's still just a plank. She'd be an evil plank, but that's still a plank.
Don't insult planks like that, dude.
I don't know, but I wanted to shift away from Star Wars. that's
Can we get back to the other topic we want to talk about?
Well, I was going to say, what was the other topic?
The old and current cartoons.
The older, So I don't have too much to say on this personally, but I was just curious what you guys think, because some of you guys are a little older. A couple of you anyway. It's actually more youngins in here now. But
that's what I'm realizing.
Yeah, but so the modern cartoon styles compared to the older ones, I guess I could say as early as the 80s to now. Do you notice where there is a shift in quality, or in animation style or
Adventure
in
Time.
character and story. and everything.
Adventure Time, I would say, I would more, but not in the bad way, of course. I always hear people when they bring up stuff like Adventure Time or Steven Universe, they bring it up as including them in the problems. I'm kind of a bit annoyed when people do that because I'm like, no, you shouldn't always blame the ones that instigate it. And I do think more Steven Universe as far as the styles than Adventure Time, because Adventure Time still had this weirdo, interesting animation, but Steven simplified it more so.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean that Steven itself is bad. I mean, I'm one of those that will defend Steven Universe tooth and nail. But yeah, I think after that is when people realize, hey, we can make this cheaper and smaller and all that.
What year is Steven Universe?
I think like 2014 or so.
Something like that. Hold on, I'm just checking. It started in 2013.
Mhm.
So I would say that was around that time. And Rebecca Sugar came off of Adventure Time.
Well, okay, I guess to reshape it.
And I will have to respectfully disagree that Steven Universe is good.
You're gonna have words then.
It's not my thing. Let's
Okay, that's
put
fair.
it that way.
Hey, I'm not saying everyone should love it. I'm not one of those type of guys.
Oh, thank God.
Oh no. You're free to have your opinion. It's just those that I can't stand when they say,
Sure.
"Oh, it's SJW incarnate." No, it freaking is not. It handles it a lot better than other shows have or other comics or whatever. Prime example: Steven's dad is actually a good guy. If it was anything like SJW stuff, they would have instead had him be a complete incompetent. And even though the gems have no idea what kids are, they would somehow magically know how to raise a kid and just kick him away because he'd be more harm than good.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's all right.
That's
Sorry.
okay. Here, I was gonna reshape the question, and then we can take turns doing it, so we can all get our answers out that we want. So I guess what I'm saying, the difference between the way that they would tell a story, like with the cartoons from either the 80s, 90s, early 2000s to now, what do you guys think about it? How have they changed? Personally, I think that the market, like when they'd have Transformers and Ninja Turtles and whatnot back in those days, those are marketing more for toys. And you look at modern ones now, like let's just say Teen Titans Go, She-Ra, and some of the other Cartoon Network ones that you guys are talking about now, or the old Scooby-Doo compared to the modern Scooby-Doo. What do you guys? Hold on, one at a time. So I'm gonna start with at Dawn since he's a little quiet over there, and then we'll go in a row here. So at Dawn, first one to go.
Sorry.
Yep. In terms of modern cartoons animation, I'm not a fan. I find I'm not a big fan of CG animation in cartoons to begin with. But even if it's hand drawn stuff, I find it's a little lazy compared to the stuff from the 80s. What it's being true to. But in terms of the writing, I don't have too much of an issue with the modernization of it. A lot of stories from the 80s you wouldn't be able to tell today, and it's not in an SJW aspect, more so just in terms of relatable to the people that are watching the show. So updating the stories a bit, I have no issue with that. I'm not too familiar with She-Ra or the Teen Titans, but in terms of the most recent Thundercats and yeah, exactly, and Voltron, those are two that I gave a try, and I just didn't enjoy them. But if people enjoy them today, that's perfectly fine.
Right.
I would give Voltron at least some props compared to others, at least.
A little bit, but I just didn't like the animation used. Again, I'm not a huge CG fan. I prefer, of course, we're not going to see very much of it anymore, but just the work being put into the artist actually drawing each slide.
The 2D animation.
You got it.
And stuff, yeah. That style seems to be long gone, unfortunately.
Yeah. Except in anime.
True, but I mean, I'm talking about, I guess, over here with the regular cartoons that aren't anime. That is technically a different genre. I mean, technically the same thing, but different styles still. Cartoons, but in different styles, I guess.
Yeah,
but
I think it's all kind of the same.
Yeah, but that's a conversation for a different time.
Here's a modern cartoon to ask everybody about. Castlevania.
Oh,
I was a big fan of the first season. Has anyone seen the second season?
Not yet.
Alert to
Please
anyone
don't
in the
tell me what's
audience?
gonna happen. Please don't tell me. For
No, I'm
the
not. I
love
haven't seen it. I
of
haven't
God,
seen it.
don't.
Okay. No, I wasn't going to spoiler. I was just saying if anyone was going to say it in the group, but no, I haven't seen it either. I'm looking forward to watching it.
And I love the artwork. I was hooked on the first episode. Pretty much I was like seeing, I don't know what I can describe it, but I felt like I was a child again seeing the Black Cauldron.
Oh, that's a good example.
And I was just watching it, and there's a reason why I'm watching it so slowly. It's so I can savor that childhood.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you.
Oh my gosh, Trevor Belmont, you remind me of an older Taran. Oh my God, you're like, oh. I'm sorry, I fangirl.
Hey, don't blame me.
But no, that would be one exception to the rule for me in terms of modern cartoons. That's more of like a horror.
I have to apologize for. Yeah,
It's all good. So, at Dawn, what are some of your favorite ones though that you would say? Cartoons could be shows or movies.
In terms of classic cartoons,
In general, just all no specifics.
oh okay. Huge fan of the Star Wars series, of the original trilogy, as well as the prequel series.
Of cartoons.
Oh, cartoons. I grew up in the 80s. So your classics, your Transformers, your G.I. Joe, that sort of thing. Those were definitely my go-to. A little less like Ninja Turtles, that sort of thing. But
okay. Yeah, I didn't grow up with Ninja Turtles or Transformers, but I have seen some of the Ninja Turtles show when I was a kid, and I couldn't get into it personally. I was a 90s baby.
Gotcha.
So what shows did you grow up with?
Ninja Turtles. What are you talking about?
What cartoons did you grow up with, Geoff?
That isn't an excuse.
We'll get to me in a bit, but Angus, I'm not sure. For some reason, I imagine Angus will have a short answer because I can't see him having watched cartoons growing up for some reason. I could see him, being more into.
Wow, you should just shut your white hole right now.
No, be more into My Little Pony.
Oh God, dude, my wife put that shit on for my. So I got a 3-year-old and I got a 2-year-old daughter. All right, and my wife will put on Pony. My wife will put on Pony. My wife will put on Pony for my daughter, and I'm like, please no, I don't want my son to grow up gay. It's just, it's such an awful show. It's such an awful show. I worry about, that influence because bronies.
I don't think
Bronies exactly.
I know.
The equestrian.
You're talking to a brony right here, and I'm straight as they come.
Well,
brony.
my interaction with bronies is very off-putting. You may be awesome. That's cool, but my interaction with bronies is very frustrating. I'm bisexual, but I just want my son to grow up straight so he has less to worry about and less conflict in his life, and less to fear about closeting and stuff. Yeah. So I'm not a bigot. Don't take me that way. I just want my son to grow up normal and have the easiest path to happiness. That's why I want him to be straight because the world conforms to straightness. But anyway, I really hate ponies. I was open to it because it's from the Powerpuff Girls creators, and I love Powerpuff Girls. I'm getting my son into Powerpuff Girls. I have the whole series from the 90s on DVD. And that's not a girl show. If anything, it's an egalitarian show, but really it feels like a boy show. But some of the shows I grew up with is Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab,
the old classic Cartoon Network,
Courage and Samurai Jack, and then X-Men and Spider-Man on Kids WB or whatever. And Adventure Time. I love Adventure Time. I love the appeal of the simple drawing because it gives them an avenue to expand more on the storytelling and to pump out more faster, I think. I never felt, I don't know about later seasons, but I never felt that Adventure Time is SJW in any sense. Some of the humor is very Shrek-like and adult, but goes over a kid's head. And I love that because I'll die laughing at some of the humor in Adventure Time. And my son will laugh because it's just happy and fun, and Daddy's laughing, but he won't get it till he's like 12 or older. And I think that's the appeal of Adventure Time for me, is that it's all over the place with the humor for everyone. And so I hate Adventure Time getting roped into the argument of like She-Ra and crap, because
I don't consider them the same.
They're two totally different ballparks. I think one's just fun, simple drawing with bright colors.
I love Adventure
because it's a crazy fantasy world with a talking Game Boy Advance. But I don't know, like some of the stories in that show feel anti SJW in my opinion.
Yeah, I never got into that one, so I don't know.
But no, those are my cartoons. Never was a anime guy. I've kind of come around in my adult years to check out anime some, but like when I was in school, anime was for like what you would consider the weird incels. And I didn't like those people because they would put more investment into anime than learning like simple linear history of America and stuff, where it's like you're making like a D in American history, but everything about like every move a Yu-Gi-Oh card can make, and like the history of this fantasy. It's just like the priorities aren't straight.
Every Pokemon.
Yeah. So like there's this culture. I think it's kind of outgrown, but for when I was a kid in high school, like anime people were like they had their priorities mixed up, and I never liked that, and so I stayed away from it, and it had a bad rap in my opinion. From my own view, it's like I just don't want to get involved with them.
The only anime fans that I don't like are like the ones who like try to be like fluent in Japanese and shit, and they talk about how like Japan is better than America, and they're like white and fat,
and she hides her Japanese. Hides her Japanese translation books.
Well, that's not necessarily saying.
Don't worry, I don't believe Japan is the best. I don't believe any country is the best. I just like the culture.
America is the best. USA.
It's just like
I know America is the best. I freaking love it.
I do enjoy my anime with subtitles, though, compared to dub. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I watch it both. I like to see. I watch it dub first, then I watch it.
It depends on your voice actors, and it also depends on like the production company it comes out.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
If it's Funimation, they're usually pretty good voice actors, but then other ones, especially like older shows, like another show that I watched growing up was Robotech, and then I eventually got into Macross. And
Macross! I actually
just
got
of Macross compared to like the Japanese.
Speaking of, I am not a otaku or a weebo. I am what I call myself, an animu.
Okay.
Never heard that one.
I made it up.
I'm whatever
an
my fans
Anakin.
want to call me.
So that's interesting.
You know what's funny is I like back when I watched Dragon Ball Z, I would say that I would prefer dub until I watched One Punch Man, and I'm like, nah, translations are way better.
Yeah, One Punch Man's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
I never watched One Punch Man.
It's good. You should check it out, Princess.
And my problem is, just beat a guy with a punch, and then what?
No, it's very self-aware. It's self-aware. You should watch it.
No. Okay, then I might like it.
There must be more to the story if they can have more than one episode on a guy that could beat you in one punch. So, like,
if it's self-aware, then I will definitely be watching it.
Yeah. As a Dragon Baller, usually One Punch Man isn't the go-to, but I guess maybe one of these days. Gotta be time for that stuff. Everybody's like, oh, watch this anime, watch this show, watch that show. I'm like, do I just have like 1,000 hours in a week to watch one anime? Watch one anime? Like, really?
Oh, by the way, Rookie, your stop motion video was epic, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
I loved it.
That was just something I was doing to just screw around, and I was like, I'll make something, see if I can do that and make it look cool. But the only joke I could think of was a thing eating the little Anakin. So,
yeah, I just love the voiceover.
Yeah, that was a fun one for sure. That's probably the only one I'll do though. But
oh man,
I do have Radical Jawa helping me out as a little tiny thing in my skit that I'm doing though for some voices.
Yeah, I was gonna try to help with that. I gotta try to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's all good. Robert just sent his. At Dawn already got his. Angus finished his.
Oh,
Sith
man.
got his. Ruka has had her. She was like one of the first ones. And yeah. I
do too much. That's my problem. I commit to too much and I do too much. That's my issue.
I feel you on that, man. Ruka, I just finished filming the part where your lines are dubbed over mine, so it looks like an anime kind of with the but without the lips matching, or like a Godzilla thing where it's like, oh, he tall. It doesn't, lips don't match up. But I think Cherry, it was your turn to talk about cartoons.
Oh, animation. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because like I'm in my 30s, but I feel like I have the taste of someone in their 50s or 60s. But it's like because I'm a big fan of the old school 60s animated, like Yogi Bear and like Becky Ray.
Yogi who?
Hong Kong Phooey. But I'm also a fan of the 80s stuff, the 90s stuff. Like I was a big fan of like
Popeye or something.
I mean, no, like like Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, like Cops. I don't know if you guys remember Cops. Like I was a fan of the 90s stuff, like Eat the Cat. I used to watch Life with Louie. I used to watch some like weird stuff.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I mean, that's like early 90s stuff. But I would say like for me, I think what happened with animation is that, or at least in my opinion, is you had like when it became like more for adults, like because when like Flintstones was aired in the evening for adults, but I feel like when The Simpsons happened, and then like when Adult Swim happened and stuff like that was really more the you kind of have like trajectories, right? So you have like you can make some just sort of like wholesome comedy kind of animation and like just get it done, right? So it's like whether you made it in Asia or whether you made it in America, it's just sort of getting it done. And then you have like the quality animation where it's like you're really taking care to like make it well done, like fully rounded. And I think like both of those like kind of trajectories have sort of like gone downhill now. It's almost like a graph, like both kind of like plummeted. Like even the ones that you could do back in the day, like even in the early 2000s, you could make a cartoon that wasn't exactly like technically like over the top, you know what I mean, in terms of like production level, but it was still pretty good. And now like your bottom of the barrel animation shows are like really, really bad. Like they're really bad compared to the bad shows from even 10 years ago. And it's weird. Like I really like, because I don't think Steven Universe is the end of the world. I like Rick and Morty. Like I have
Rick and Morty's awesome.
There's shows I like, there's shows I don't like. But I think that it's weird now. Like the shows that they're putting a lot of work into the animation are not really like good cartoons. Like they're shows that you can make live action, that you're making a cartoon.
Well, yeah, exactly. They're more story based than your like.
Yeah, it's like they're not
cartoon. Like
you know that's the thing is you can make 2 15-minute episodes of Yogi Bear back in the day and just like it's like madcap zany comedy, and now it's like let's do a half hour of just people talking basically, and now it's an animation. It's like that's crazy to me. But I don't know. I kind of went off a tangent there, but yeah, I don't think Steven Universe is the end of the world. I'm not a brony. I don't watch. I definitely have watched Powerpuff Girls in my day. It's definitely a better show that people give it credit for.
I remember watching Powerpuff Girls.
You know, but I also like I was aged out of a lot of the Pokemon world as well. You know. But you know what I did? You know what I did enjoy? I was a fan of, and this might show you how poor I was. I did like Digimon.
I like Digimon.
I love Digimon.
But I only like Digimon. Maybe you can help me. What was the name of the Digimon character with the cactus with the boxing gloves?
Oh, Togemon.
I love Gillamon.
No,
that
Togemon.
was the only reason I liked Digimon was there was a cactus with boxing gloves, and I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah, but then you turn to Lilymon. You know, the cute little
I don't
fairy.
know what you're talking about really, but I'm loving it anyway.
Yep.
Now, your biggest fear, Angus.
That was some fun time.
I'm sorry, what? What, Rookie?
You said your biggest fear, Angus.
Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
No.
He knows the name of the cactus, the cactus gloves and all that. You're like, oh no.
No, I was laughing because I'm like, Jesus Christ, what these goofy monsters Pokemon Digimon make. I didn't really grow up with either one, but I did like Digimon better because the animations, like sharp edges and stuff, like the T-Rex looks vicious as opposed to like Charizard looks kind of like a bitch to me as a dragon.
I do like Gillamon. He's my favorite. I probably already said that.
I
Yeah,
hadn't
that's so
watched
good.
Digimon while it aired, but then I remember Netflix had it about 4 or 5 years ago, and I did end up watching quite a bit of it. I think they had the entire series on there.
Yeah, at one point probably if they don't still.
No.
Yeah, I hear you. But so Princess Haruka, your turn.
What?
To talk about your cartoons, your history, or what you prefer, the
well,
difference between modern and old.
I grew up with a lot of cartoons. There's a lot.
I'm saying, so like, do you notice a difference, or what would you say
Yes,
was
I
the
do.
difference in your
do.
favorites?
Oh my god, I do. It's just bad.
Well, so I was gonna say, it's like, what do you think was one of the first ones you noticed of the modern day that were different from the ones that you liked from before?
That's gonna be tough.
Or okay,
Maybe-
so
Maybe
what?
because the modern stuff started going after I went into out of high school, so it's kind of.
How about this? Were you a fan of Sailor Moon? And did you watch like the two versions, like the American and the Japanese?
No,
Japanese cuts?
I never watched Sailor Moon.
Oh, okay.
I should though.
I did. I watched it when it aired, and then when I saw the other cut, like the Japanese cut, I was like, oh, okay. Why didn't we get this?
So I never got to watch Sailor Moon or anything else. Let's see. I'm gonna have to say it started when I saw Steven Universe, and don't hate me. I just something about the art just for me was kind of off, and then it became famous and all that kind of stuff. Then people started going on a bandwagon for that artwork.
Okay, I will not argue that one.
And I'm just going, okay, that artwork is what made Steven Universe okay. Same with Adventure Time and Chowder, but they actually worked with that art. The rest of the time, it's like, what the hell? Make your own art style.
I gotcha.
Okay.
Did you find them?
Find what?
I thought you were trying to think of where it began, other than Steven Universe or something, or some of your favorites,
where it began.
Or some of your favorites. I mean, you could, Courage, Cowardly Dog. There's a lot of, there's the Teen Titans. There's a lot of different styles that's come out over the years.
That was fun. I never got to see Teen Titans other than watching it on TV at a Walmart.
Okay, well, I was really surprised. I thought you'd have the longest answer here, Haruka.
Yeah, trust me, when it comes to things like this, my mind blanks.
Okay, well, it'll probably come back to you at some point. So, while you think on that, let's go to Sith.
What?
Okay, do you just want to change topics now?
Rookie, I wanted to hear your favorite cartoon.
All right.
Just a sec, guys.
Falling down? Okay. Yeah, well, so I grew up in the 90s, of course. I was more of the Power Rangers, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Kid.
Power Rangers!
Angus's worst fears as far as that goes. And, knew Pokemon the best, could recite all the names back in the day. But, Scooby-Doo and, Dexter and Courage and those ones are some good ones back in the day. Powerpuff Girls sometimes. I mean, only on occasion, I think it would play before certain shows that I would watch. And, didn't hate it, didn't love it, wasn't attached. Got into Dragon Ball way later, more like in middle school, high school area. And if I'm going to talk about differences that I've noticed in quality and looking at modern cartoons, the only ones I'm really using as reference here that I've seen from the modern ones is I guess She-Ra, and I've glanced at the Teen Titans Go, and I've glanced at some of the modern episodes of SpongeBob and whatnot. And I mean, it just seems like they like to be really fast with how they do everything. There's no real slow moments. There's just, oh, what's this? Oh, what's that? Oh, let's be really loud and let's just go really fast. And they're just like, I know that all cartoons kind of do that, but the difference I notice is it's just much quicker paced in all the shows now. Like every joke has to be really quick, really loud, and then it's like, oh, and it's just, I don't know, it doesn't seem as clever.
I can't watch Teen Titans Go for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like they have to go, oh, look at this, and it's like a freeze frame on them holding a giant hot dog, and I'm like, what's the joke? As to where, like, in Ed, Edd n Eddy, he'd eat a freaking mattress, and they're just like, that's weird. Okay. And they just, the way they are would be different. Ralph would just have his pig walking around, and the other, they'd all be trying to get jawbreakers all the time, and they get tricked. It's just like, I don't know, it just seemed like the way the comedy would play out seemed like, stuff was happening, and it was just kind of funny rather than them going, I have to make a joke as quick as possible, and then don't have time to think, and it just seems like you can't sit and relax and watch it. You have to, it stresses me out to watch it at all. I tried to watch a SpongeBob episode of recent, and I was kind of like, oh god, like I can't. It was just way worse than I remember. So I don't know.
Hey, Rookie.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot to add, and it's not because Hillenburg or whatever died, but I've honestly been a fan since it came out, before the movie or anything. SpongeBob, I used to get picked on because I like SpongeBob because he's always, considered gay or whatever, and there was like the religious fanatics trying to say him and Patrick were gay.
I never heard that.
I've never heard of
Well,
this.
yeah,
I heard some people say that. I just never got picked on for it.
There was I can't remember who it was, but there was some TV preacher who blamed SpongeBob and the gays for the tsunami that hit in like the Pacific in '04. Yeah. So there was actually documented people that like try to make like religious connotations with SpongeBob and his sexuality and stuff. But yeah, SpongeBob and Cat Dog. I also loved those. I forgot those.
Cat Dog.
See, SpongeBob killed Nickelodeon for me.
I don't remember anything about Cat Dog other than them being a cat and a dog mixed together. And
I remember the intro.
One fine day with a wolf fed up her. Yeah, can I have a chance to say my little bit about what's cartoons? Because I think you guys kind of passed me.
Yeah, no, it's your turn. I was saving you for last because I thought you'd have a lot to say. So.
I will. I personally always divide cartoons into different segments. You had, of course, the 80s and 90s when I grew up. Then you have so much stuff that happened post SpongeBob, where you had the SpongeBob knockoffs or the attempts to try and match that energy. And then once that finally faded, you start to have the Renaissance start up again, where you start to have stuff like Flapjack, Gumball, a lot of stuff on Cartoon Network. Yes, we're starting to climb back up, and then it started once again. Like it has these ups and downs, and like where they start to do things for older people. Or at least with making it appeal to everyone else, and then it comes back down. And in the defense of My Little Pony, I will give, the reason why boys can get attracted to it, that's what Lauren Fox went in. She initially has always stated she created the show so that the girls can enjoy it and that their brothers or dads can come in, see it, and not head for the hills because it was a girl show. And in that case, I say she succeeded, maybe too well in some regards, but it's that type of thoughts that some shows make. That's why they do so well. But then you have other shows. Now we're back in that point where you have a mixture. Some shows are writing with anyone in mind, like Loud House on Nickelodeon. But then you have Teen Titans Go and the like, where they're like, let's just make it on the cheap. Move it out, rapidly shoot it out. We don't care about the characters. They're just put in there just to be there. Again, it all depends, I think, more and more on the studios and what the networks want these days more than ever.
Interesting point.
And that's the point I want to think. As far as old shows getting revived, I'm surprised no one brought up DuckTales. That was a great
DuckTales.
show.
I like Darkwing Duck more though.
Hey, Darkwing Duck appeared in it.
Yeah, Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, Tailspin. Love those three shows. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
I know, and I'm loving the new show though because it is so good. That's what a revival should be: doing something new and fresh. And yet, at the same time, being beloved to the old stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Unlike, and that's why everyone say that's what it should be. You look at somebody, and some people are using it as like the benchmark now for good reboots.
For what again?
For good reboots of old shows. They are using
what show?
DuckTales. The
Oh, they
recent
made
one.
another one.
Yep.
Yeah, the recent one with David Tennant as Scrooge, among others.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. The voice of Magica was Catherine Tate. As a Doctor Who fan, I'm like, number 10 and Donna back again.
Awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. I never got into the Disney shows of that area, I guess, with the Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Tailspin.
Looney Tunes?
But that was
You ever
back
watched
in the
Looney
day.
Tunes?
Ooh, Looney Tunes. That's
Looney Tunes are awesome.
Looney Tunes is always on. Some
What about
episodes.
Tiny Toons?
If you're homesick from school, yeah, those were always on.
We're tiny, we're toony, we're all little.
a pretty fun show.
Animaniacs. Yeah, Animaniacs.
Oh, don't get me started on that. In a good way. In a good way.
No, I don't know.
Like I said, that's how. But yeah, just saying. That's how I always look at it. I look at it in the different segments depending on what's big around that. I don't. That's why I always say there's heaps and valleys.
What do you guys think of the progression of Scooby-Doo? And do you think they should have stopped a long time ago?
Yes.
Actually, no. Actually, I don't agree. I think Scooby is kind of like Batman in the regard of you can keep on redoing Scooby in different ways and come up with something so long as you're still relatively beholden. I mean, I love Mystery Incorporated, how dark that got. You know what I mean? But I look at that. That's one of those shows where you can redo it. And I don't think Scooby has reached the point of Ninja Turtles was Rise of the Ninja Turtles, where it has reached the Teen Titans Go. They all blend together levels. But yeah, again, I think with Scooby, you can recreate it and do well within reason.
I mean, what are they doing now? Are they still making new episodes? Because
they are doing Be Cool Scooby-Doo, which is kind of more of a weird comedy version. But the one thing I can't wait for, they're actually doing it another one of the animated movies. It's wrapping up the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. They're going for the 13th Ghost.
They did a Scooby-Doo with WWE episode.
Yeah, and then they did a Jetsons one.
You know what? I really enjoyed in the last season of Supernatural. They did a Scooby-Doo crossover.
Yep.
I saw a clip of that.
It was so good. The whole time Dean was trying to like bang Daphne. This is a great episode.
I saw a clip of that where they're like, ghosts, demons, all that stuff's real. He's like, there's freaking vampires and werewolves. We've been just hunting after guys in costumes. It's like all furious.
It was great.
I remember Scooby-Doo trapped on Zombie Island or something.
Oh, that was a classic.
And one of my favorite is the Hex Girls one.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Which is Ghost.
I loved it.
Yep, which is Ghost.
That's the one. Sing that song for hours.
Where the heck's going?
I think I'm going to draw a lot of girls, but what about the Scooby-Doo live action movies?
No, they weren't horrible.
They weren't the worst. They weren't the worst.
They should have made them R-rated. They should have made them R-rated like they were supposed to be.
Yeah, they really.
Scooby-Doo is supposed to be R-rated.
Oh yeah, James Gunn wrote those.
What? How would making it R-rated be better?
No,
an R-rated Scooby?
Yeah, that was the intent. A lot of the jokes they had, they were going to basically. It was meant to be a spoof, a Scooby spoof, taking all of the jokes and turn it up to making actually most of them were true. But then they said, no, let's keep it more faithful. And that's why they slashed a lot of it. And that's why only some aspects of it. It's basically, I always look at the live action movie as taking pup name and make him grow up. The fact that in the second movie they had to be set in Coolsville kind of proves that.
Yeah, the Scooby-Doo movies were kind of a meme. I mean, they could have done it where it was like actually scary and shit. Like it's like a real, like there's like gore and shit, and like the ghosts are fucking scary as hell. They could have did that, but
I would have liked
they would have no balls back then in 2000.
Like the original Ghostbusters. That would have been actually fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to imagine that clashing with Scooby-Doo though. Ruh-roh, he slit his throat. Ruh-roh. I don't see what.
Like Scoops, he ripped out his heart.
Or grab his balls, bite his balls off.
You're making me think back to the Robot Chicken sketch where they got all the movie actors in.
Oh yeah,
Robot Chicken's great.
Yep. Yeah, but yeah, Scooby Doo is like just a good, if you have a kid or something, at most a teenager, you can put it on and not be destroyed by it. I mean, good enough actors, good enough story, I guess. Just, I don't know, not really rewatchable, but it was there.
Yeah.
Kind of funny a little bit sometimes and ridiculous, but
I gotta say though, I think some of the cast they keep getting, at least they keep it consistent. You still have Frank Welker. You have him also doing Scooby now, but in a different way. Grey Delisle or Grey Griffin is still a great Daphne. It's the funny thing is,
you know what? No, he muted himself.
Oh, I think he might have muted.
and in Jetsons, she's Jane. She's Jane.
Oh, the same actress.
Yeah, the same voice actress. But here's the funny thing: you know who voices Barney Rubble?
I don't know.
Kevin Michael Richardson. The big black guy who does all these, sometimes, and all that. Yeah, you should hear the range this guy has. He does Cleveland Jr. on the Cleveland Show and Family Guy. He does, but yeah, he does both versions. Hey, Fred, and hey, Fred, what are we going to do? Those two voices. You can do on a dime.
That's pretty cool.
I'm sorry, I'm a super nerd and all this stuff.
That's all good. See, that's a good thing though. There's always something that we'll be able to talk about with you on. But I want to kind of shift it over to I guess since holidays are around the corner. What are some of your guys' favorite Christmas films?
Godfather.
The Godfather? What?
Godfather. It's a Terry Pratchett. It's based off a Terry Pratchett book by the same name. It's pretty much Death is taking Santa Claus's place because there's an assassin after Santa Claus.
Interesting.
What year? What year is this?
Yeah.
Okay, how do I put it this way? Terry Pratchett is a satirist like Mark Twain. And The Hogfather is a satire on faith, belief, and other things. So pretty much this Assassin Academy, the headmaster of the Assassin Academy gets this request to kill Santa.
Okay.
And then there's this guy who's not right in the head, but he manages to figure out how to make Santa disappear. That causes Dad to be like, oh crap, there's a spot missing in the universe, we must fill it. And he has to act like Santa.
Interesting.
So is this like an older film or a newer one? Or?
Let me look. It's
like
not
like within the last 10 years or later than that? Like
I'm gonna have to look. Oh, it's 2006.
Ah.
And it's really good. It's really good. I'm sorry if I'm making it sound horrible. I'm trying to.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
It's
you have failed. You have failed.
Movie.
Failed miserably.
That's all good.
You have failed.
But
It's a really good movie, and Death's granddaughter. Yes, Death has a granddaughter.
Of course.
She kicks butt.
Is this animated or live action?
Live action.
What's it called again? The Hogfather?
Hogfather.
Hogfather.
H-O-G father.
Oh, hog. I thought you were saying
hog. They said odd or hod. I'm like, what?
Oh, I'm just looking at it right now.
Wait, now this sounds a little familiar. Okay.
Oh, wait. Oh, the Discworld guy. Okay, that explains so much. It's a Discworld thing.
Yes.
That explains why you're talking. That explains why you're talking about with death. This is Discworld death. That makes so much more sense.
I'm a Discworld fan. I will say that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that explains so much then with what you were just saying.
I should have just said that this was a Discworld book.
Yeah.
Movie. That would have cleared it up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's cool. I wrote that down so I can check that out. See if they got that. Sounds interesting, if anything. I know that is this like was this a theatrical release or like
No,
a
TV.
DVD?
From looks, it looks like it's a TV, two-part TV special on BBC. It looks like.
Yeah, sounds like
but
it. Sounds
was
like it would be that.
good. I own the DVD along with in a pretty much 2-disc thing with the Snow Queen and the Hogfather. I watched both.
Whoa, that was.
All right, yeah. So that is something I will watch one of these days. That sounds interesting. Have any other favorites?
Nope.
You're like, nope, that's it. I assume most people like the classic Grinch, but
Yes.
Mr. Grinch.
Yeah, of
do
course.
you guys like the new Grinch?
I haven't
No.
seen it yet.
I don't think anybody wants to see it.
I mean, I like
want to
classics
see
like
it just so I
Christmas
can
Story
see
too.
what's the difference.
I did actually went to see it, and I did a review of it. That's not. There's not enough that has to do with the original story.
How is it compared to the Jim Carrey one?
It makes the Jim Carrey movie make it look a lot better. I wasn't a big fan of the Jim
And
Carrey movie.
And
I've
that's lost me now. If it makes that look a lot better.
Yeah, it makes the Jim Carrey movie actually look a lot better. I didn't mind the Jim Carrey movie, but I wasn't a huge fan. But now I've gone back and revisited it after watching it. It's just there's not enough connection with the original story, and at no time is the Grinch ever really considered like you could consider him the villain. He's a likable character all throughout the movie, pretty much.
How was Benedict Cumberbatch as the Grinch?
That's where I was really disappointed because I was going in hoping, based on like everything I know about him as an actor, I thought he would be great. He just came off as really boring. Like he didn't really take any chances with it. My sister had told me after I had seen it that apparently the producers had asked him to put on an English accent similar to like what he does in Sherlock, and he flat out refused. So I think that might have had something to do with it.
Right.
But,
That's a
voice
weird
performance
ask.
wasn't the greatest.
I wanted to see Benedict Cumberbatch have his voice.
Sorry, spoiler alert. I should have spoiler alert on that, but no, he doesn't have his voice. They asked him to use the British accent, and he said no.
So in other words, they wanted him to actually sound like a bit
Boris
closer.
Karloff.
Yeah.
They wanted him to sound like Boris Karloff.
Yeah, I could see why he probably didn't want to. I could kind of see that, kind of.
I don't know. So did you guys? Favorites next. So Angus, you want to go?
Actually,
so
I
favorite-
gotta head out.
fav-
I gotta head out actually.
Oh, you head out.
I gotta be up for work in 6 hours. So,
Okay. Sorry if it's a little late for you, man.
oh no, it's all right. I mean, it's about the time I go to bed, but I figured you guys would be chatting. It seemed like it was a good time to duck out here. But
Okay, yeah. Well, thanks for coming
it
by,
was,
man.
it was good talking to all you guys.
Hey, great having
Nice to meet you, man.
on the stream with you,
Nice to meet
Nathan.
you guys.
Yep.
Yeah,
For
bring
sure.
it
I
on.
will. We'll hopefully I'll be on here again, and I think I'm subscribed to all your guys' channels. I'm pretty sure, or if I'm not, I will.
You
be.
subscribe to mine? I forget.
So. Yeah, no, I'm subscribed to you, Robert. I don't know if you are to mine, but yeah,
I am to yours. I am definitely to yours.
But yeah, guys, I'll talk to you later. Thanks, God. Nice meeting you
Yep.
guys.
See ya.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, my wife came home. Recap me through the list of y'all. Recap me y'all's favorite Christmas movie so far.
So
I think,
everyone-
Terry Pratchett's The Hogfather.
Okay, I don't know that one. What about you,
It's
Don?
Discworld related.
I haven't gone
Yeah,
yet.
it's
We were
Discworld
debating
related.
about the Grinch. We were talking about the Grinch, but I haven't said yet.
Yep. So why don't you go then, Don?
Oh, sure. I'm a big fan of the classics, the old black and white stuff. I grew up watching that with my grandparents. So, but I like modernization movie too. So I'd say my two favorite. It'd be hard to pick one. That's what I'm getting at. That I'd say probably my two favorite would be the old black and white, like Christmas Carol, Scrooge, and then the modernization of the same story in the Bill Murray movie Scrooged from the 80s. I just really like that story, that classic Christmas story, The Tale of a Christmas Carol.
I gotcha. The regular one. Yeah, they adapted that like what 50 times.
Oh yeah, I like the Patrick Stewart one, like the more like proper English. You name it, I'll watch it.
Interesting. Yeah. Do you like any of the I guess since we're on the Christmas thing, this is open to everybody, I suppose, too. We'll be going back and forth between the favorites and other topics with Christmas stuff. So you guys heard about how Rudolph is misogynist or what?
I'm out. Charlie Brown as well.
Don't get me started on that. What the flying?
I figured you guys would have a reaction with that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink some bleach.
First of all, do people not remember the song? Why don't they just complain about the song?
Yeah, it was like, wasn't the whole point that it's a lesson to learn and that, the people were wrong in the beginning and whatever, and then they learn that they're okay and they've...
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes your quirks can help have better things in the den, and then you can help save Christmas. Heck, the fact that, if anyone watched the Orville, they use that as a plot point.
Yeah, but you could also argue that, Santa's kind of a douche for not liking Rudolph, and then when he goes like, oh, now I have a use for you, so now you're good.
To be fair,
he's kind of a douche, too.
He was,
but only... Santa has a lot of things to think about. It's hard for, him to be there all the time, and let's see, he has elves to take care of. He has the reindeer and their herds. He has the toy shop, which he has to oversee.
Exactly, and do people forget that was just one scene where he was a dick towards Rudolph? One scene!
And pretty much it's like, oh, I'm doing a mandatory visit to see the new baby.
Yeah, exactly, but I was saying, when people say it's like, it was one scene, people, you act like it was the whole freaking movie. He was constantly kicking Rudolph in the ass.
So it's kind of, he had it. It's mandatory to visit the new kid to make sure they're doing fine because, hey, this reindeer might be my new team leader, so I have to check them out, make sure they're healthy.
Exactly.
And, this kid has a shiny
nose.
Okay, let's think.
What's that noise I'm hearing?
Keep that on the down low just in case because, hey, you're the son of my greatest reindeer?
Yeah. Why don't people think about that stuff? They just think, oh, he's an ass. Oh, he's a dick.
Well, it's also, part of the times was when you're different like that, they shun you anyway. Pretty much. Yeah, so, I don't know.
Just nuts.
If you wanna complain about something being sexist, how about Grandma got run over by a reindeer?
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Actually, I love that song. I like Grandma.
I like it too.
Ever seen the movie, the animated movie?
Yes, I've seen the movie.
And boy, did they change that. Boy, did they change the plot of that one fast. Because remember, she died in the other one. In this case, nope, she's still alive.
Yeah, but in this one, she got ran over and lost her memory. But, oh my gosh, I have to say, I love the artwork just because of how corny it was.
I know, I agree.
It looks so bad, it's actually good. It's one of those Christmas movies that are just... oh my gosh, it's going to end up horrible. And as I was watching and the songs, I'm just going, why am I enjoying this?
Yeah, I didn't see the grandma got ran over by the reindeer, so I don't know. Yeah, I've only seen some of the Christmas classics.
One of us got to see it.
Yep.
Other than me.
Well, that's good. But who are we on next for their favorites?
I'll go next.
All right. Go ahead, Sithy boy.
My favorite Christmas movie is Elf.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. I love Elf.
Elf is good.
If you disagree, you sit on a throne of lies.
I haven't seen it, so I may have no comment.
Yeah, I'm annoyed with Will Ferrell, but I don't mind the movie.
How dare you?
His comedy is the same in every single thing, so he's just kind of annoying.
Elf was actually pretty funny, but I just found some parts facepalm worthy. Because I'm going, they taught it. okay, you're a human being raised by elves, and yet you never asked a question until now?
That is kind of funny, though. I mean, I will admit, the concept's funny, and you're a cotton-headed ninny mug. It's like, no, you said the F word. It's like,
and I'm just going, okay. And no one gave you, and Santa is a human, technically. So wouldn't you think you were the kid of Santa being raised as an elf?
And he just thought he was a really big elf. Isn't that the point?
Exactly. So it's kind of, I was watching the movie going, this absolutely makes no sense.
well, yeah, but I mean, it's a Christmas with the Santa Claus and a elf. So I mean, which ones really make sense?
You gotta think too, like situations like Mowgli with the wolves. Like, there's certain animals that will randomly, especially in farm situations, will adopt another species at like when they're babies, and they'll suckle them and stuff, and then that like a goat will think it's a cow or vice versa. You know, there's weird relationships like that. So it's kind of the same scenario for Buddy, where like he's, you know, adopted, but he thinks he's just an oddity.
Yeah, but that's the point about he was growing up as a large elf, and I'm just going, you never asked about this.
Again, but like he's trying to say, well, again, I haven't seen it, but like he's trying to say though that that's kind of the point. What leads to that type of stuff.
Well, it's like, how would it be a funny movie if that wasn't the scenario? I mean, it's kind of the point too. The fact that he's there and then discovers he's a human, and he's like, and then he, you know, goes and finds his dad. I mean, that's, if there wasn't that, then there wouldn't be a thing. It would just be like, yeah, I'm, you know, a teenager and I'm bigger. I mean, there'd be no point for comedy in it, really, I think. So
it wasn't that. It was just all throughout his life, he never questioned why he was growing bigger.
Well, again, he just thought he was an oddity.
Well, he's elf educated, so
you never questioned this. When I was younger, I was questioning my mom about her, you know.
Well, they show him struggling to use their smaller stuff, so I mean, he's probably a little curious, but they just show a montage of him growing up, so I mean, and he seems innocent. He's raised by the elves, so he's got the innocent attitude.
Here's another thing. Why are the elves always so happy, joy?
Because they're elves.
Yep.
They're magic.
That's why when he gets
here
to New York,
in a movie called The Christmas Chronicle, the elves are like these little furry people, and almost like Ewokish, but they're more adorable, and they have their own language, and they are able to beat up one of the biggest characters in the movie. And
well, yeah, but there's different elf iterations in every version of anything Santa. So, and ones there are two human dudes, a white dude and a black.
They weren't happy all the time, and seeing a happy elf being, oh, I love this, la 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 la. I'm just going.
Well, the dad elf was kind of a douche, and the other guys just seemed like they were doing a job. They didn't seem happy, joy, and elf.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like grumpy elf.
Can't even believe I'm defending Elf.
And
it's a great movie.
I don't like it either. Really.
And I'm just going. However, I will have to say I do love the Santa Claus elves because they are not happy, joy all the time. There are some arguments around there, and it acts like an actual workshop. Oh, hey, this happens. Oh my gosh. How are we gonna do this? Oh no. Cue the head elf. Shut up!
Talking about the Santa Claus Tim Allen?
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course. I think that's one of the best ones. It just the way he's Tim Allen in it. Yeah.
Oh, I like the first one.
It was good. The second okay. The third can just shove it.
There's a third. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Oh, was that the Jack Frost one? That sucks.
Yeah. I like them all actually. They're fine with me. The first one's great. The other two are just kind of dumb Disney.
The reindeer. No, and the first ones they just grunt. They don't need to actually have a stupid language. The reindeer.
Well, see, to me, that reindeer thing is like the Porgs, where it's annoying, but it doesn't take focus away from the movie.
No, but it's still like the dove, the retarded one or something. That literally was handicapped.
Yeah, I think you mean handy capable.
Yeah, he was just like,
was
he's
waiting
like
for
crashing
it.
into the thing. I'm like, oh, okay, you didn't need to have this, but okay. I don't know. I liked it better when in the first one he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And they're just grunting him, and that was good enough. And he's like, shut up." They don't need to actually speak.
I would like a Christmas movie where one of the guys
Was that a
becomes
duck?
Santa.
No, that's not
Sorry,
a
that was my
squeaker.
dog. That was one of my dog's toys. I stepped
Oh,
on them by
scared the crap out of me.
Okay, I would like a Christmas movie where the Santa, the guy chosen to be Santa, goes to the workshop and then is whacked with something on the head. And then the elves are like, "You are not Santa, where's Santa?"
Like what?
It just, kind of, the elves act like actual people. They have a new leader in the Santa Claus role, and when the new Santa comes on board, and the elves don't know about this new chosen Santa, one of them whacks the Santa on the ground. And it has to take work in order to get the elves' trust. Like, he has to work, figure out the workshop, figure out how the entire system works.
Hey,
He's
the
not
Mr.
gonna snap his fingers and, "Oh my gosh, I'm Santa." No.
It's funny, the Mr. Pete channel is like, why are there no Asian or Eskimo elves? And I said, well, it's a white Christmas for a reason.
Damn.
Why would they want to live in that cold ass place? I mean, really?
Actually, there's a reason why Santa Claus is actually Caucasian. It's because he is based off a saint called Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Yep. He went around places giving food and woolen socks and stuff to the poor around Russia and other places. So that's why
He was actually like Turkish or Greek. So.
Yeah, he's actually Turkish. So of course he's gonna be Caucasian.
What am I hearing?
Yeah, I keep on hearing this popping noise.
Is there that dog or something by your microphone at Dawn?
No?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Sorry?
There's some noise.
Mystery.
I was assuming my cat sometimes would rub against the microphone, but not right now. So.
Oh, no.
I love
Not
cats.
moving right now.
So thinking about my favorite Christmas movies, it's kind of a tie. I do love Elf. It's so great. I love the humor, but also Grinch. I wasn't raised with the Grinch, even though it came out in 2000. I was like 8. I never saw it till I was like probably already an adult.
You have to clarify which Grinch.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I never grew up with the cartoon or the Jim Carrey, but Jim Carrey's Grinch is my Grinch. And seeing the trailers for that new Grinch, especially watching at Dawn's video, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely not paying to see that crap. They're just trying to rip off. It's the voice and everything seem like they're just trying to rip off Jim Carrey's Grinch, and it's like it's not going to work if you don't make it your own thing.
Yeah.
What's funny too is the humor is on par with Shrek to me. Where like some of the things I can't think of any off the top of my head, but some of the things I watch in rewatching it, I'm like, wow, they really did that. And that's what's great about Dr. Seuss adaptations is every one. People complain about Cat in the Hat, but like every one to me has really adult humor and content that goes over your head when you're a kid. Sorry, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hey, can I mention what my movie is that I know no one else has said it?
Go ahead.
Sure.
Gremlins.
Oh, yeah.
Gremlins.
Is it a Christmas one?
What's that?
It was set during Christmas.
Well, no, but like,
I count it.
well, that sounds like if there's a Christmas day in any movie.
No.
Christmas
Christmas
movie
is
is
still a
Christmas,
part
yeah.
because Gizmo would not have been given if it wasn't for it being Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, you could say birthday, but
I will admit too, I haven't actually seen that either, so I don't know what.
I
don't know what the significance.
just love that movie, and especially Gizmo and all that. I just And again, just in how scary it was, and I gotta say, even though it wasn't set anywhere near Christmas, the sequel is so underrated.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
sequel's great.
Is
Yeah.
it weird that when I hear the movie Gremlins being referred to, I think of Furbies?
I think of that too.
Not at
Why do you
all.
think they got? Why do you think Furby got sued?
They're the same thing, right?
Oh,
I mean,
really?
Pretty
they're
much.
Oh yeah, they were sued because of that. That's why they had to tweak the design a little.
Oh, wow.
Now,
No
eventually, they were
idea.
able to come to an agreement and do the Gizmo, the Mogwai Furbies, but that was past it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yep. Did everybody else get their favorite Christmas thing? Seth, do you do yours?
Yeah, mine was Elf.
Oh yeah, you started this whole thing. No.
Oh yeah, it was awesome conversation.
Yeah, I'm surprised that came from Elf, honestly, because I don't know, but I like the Tim Allen Santa Claus. I mean, I'm just seeing it as Tim the Toolman Taylor, just walking through the Santa Claus thing, and it's like, what the hell?
I love Tool Time.
It's so funny just seeing him like that. He's just, oh, what the hell? And I don't want to do this. And, he keeps on shaving and gets, again, it's like, I feel like that's the most bizarre way to approach a Santa Claus film, because it's like forcing it upon him. Like, he doesn't want to do it, and it's like just doing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, God damn it.
Yeah, no,
If they bring back Tool Time right now, I'd be so hyped.
See, I would think to be hyped, but it's just the modern influence. They would either try to reference the show too much, or they'd just try to do, I don't know. I don't feel like there'd be as much creativity with it. I mean, they already had however many episodes, and I think that was enough. Kids have grown up. I mean, they could do a Full House type thing with that.
No.
I don't know. I just think
I'm gonna have to leave. There's a stream going on about news and stuff that I have to watch.
Okay.
Pretty much, it's my halfway news point. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, have fun.
About that.
It was nice talking to you again.
Yep.
Nice talking to you
See,
again.
Night, princess.
Night.
Night.
Yep.
All right, and then there were only 5.
Yep.
That was quick maths.
Yep. I looked at you guys and added 1. I looked at you guys and added 1.
Mathematical.
What are you, a genius?
Yep. So
Are you an
Angus,
Asian?
Not yet.
Yeah.
No.
Not yet.
My eyes, you could argue, could be, because when I have my eyes wide open, everybody says they look like they're closed, and I'm like, dude, I can see everything. What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, I guess they're just naturally
I'm not going to touch that one.
slanted. If you watch my skits, you'll notice that my eyes look like they're squinting, but I'm not. They're like wide open to
Hello?
me. Yeah. Hello, please. Yes. Casserole. Angus, what were you talking about before you left?
Oh yeah, so the Grinch. Craziest thing to me about that movie is it's a Ron Howard movie. The guy who made Soilo. Ron Howard made the
the guy
Grinch.
the guy who finished Soilo. Don't put
He
all
reshot
the
most of it.
He made it. He chopped
made
it up.
it.
He edited it.
Yeah, but
made
he was brought in to help finish something that he was given. He didn't come with the production stuff. So come on.
He reshot
Well,
like half of
no,
that movie.
that's
No, he
reshooting.
reshot
I think.
like
There's
70%.
There's reshooting stuff that was already planned.
It's still his movie.
Only
His mitts are all
I
over it.
judge it if
But
they
you
went
can
by
make good
production.
movies.
I would judge it if he was in the production stuff at the beginning.
I blame Kathleen
But no-
for that
but-
one.
Yeah,
But no, like
Agreed,
I've never been impressed with Ron Howard stuff. I know he's won Oscars and crap and critical acclaim. Never been impressed with his stuff besides maybe Apollo 13. It's just more of like the situation and the story. Not like anyone could make that and make it interesting. Like you have to really fuck it up to not make Apollo 13 interesting. But it's so crazy seeing his body of work and then coming and realizing that he made The Grinch with Jim Carrey. It's so 180.
Yeah.
I never expected that revelation. One day I just watching it and see The Grinch is more than a Christmas movie to me. Like it's just a great movie. I don't need I've watched it throughout the year multiple times this year alone. It's just fun. It's so whimsical and crazy and off the wall. It's a movie. It's kind of like how certain sci-fi or horror movies like Alien or whatever, some people call them horror. I call it the other. Same thing with this. Like I don't consider it Christmas movie. I consider it bigger, but it is, the reason you watch is it's Christmas story, I guess. And I can't say enough about it. It's so fun just finding little hints and stuff. Like when I was a kid, I died laughing at the whole mistletoe scene. We're like, pucker up and kiss it, and and then you get older and you see all the sexual tones and tension.
Oh yeah,
with,
Lanny wearing the one who's breast.
Yeah, and the key party that his two mothers or whatever had, they were like doing the key party. Like, wow, that is pretty overt. That's what's great with that movie. Is like when you're a kid, you don't even notice it. I just can't say enough. But yeah, Elf is great too. I haven't watched it in a couple years though. Before I had kids, I always planned on being really happy about Christmas and doing the stupid crap like, oh my God, Santa, and like keeping up their hope and joy about Santa. Now I'm so jaded, but being a parent having to pay for shit, I'm so jaded with Christmas. I'm just like, let's just stay home, maybe watch a few movies. You'll get a gift, but like I try to stay out of the like commercialized Christmas anymore. Like, I don't know, you're never gonna live up to the dream of how they market Christmas. So I try to just avoid all of that.
I have a movie pitch.
Okay.
Ready?
No.
So, Ryan Johnson's directing The Grinch 5. The Grinch is purple, and he's played by Jake Skywalker.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean, technically, he technically was the Grinch in Star Wars. So they just need to add a few footage on there, and that'd be the same movie.
To be woke. He's purple to be woke. Actually, he's rainbow. He's rainbow.
Yeah, that'd be something. But that was already The Last Jedi, practically. So
True.
I mean, just change a few lines, and that'd be the same thing. But what do you guys think about? Do you think that they'll try to remake, or have they even remade the old classics? Like, do you think they should or shouldn't ever do that?
What?
Like Rudolph, Frosty.
Actually, Frosty they technically did with that stupid movie special a while ago, where they basically had to be like Frosty, like his hat was locked up and all that.
I guess I mean like the Grinch, like how the Grinch, was adapted.
Actually, I could, if someone did it right and they continue the idea of trying to create things like a greeting card, but I can see a live action Frosty working.
I don't see the point of it though. I mean, they told the story as it was, and that's what it is.
True.
And what they change that would make it different? Oh, is it black kids this time? Like that's like what they do these days. We gotta take them to Africa to live? Okay.
No, I personally think that in that case, they would add a bit more of a subplot to some things. Yeah, but I still think you could tell, like, give a bit more about Karen, about her family and everything.
Karen?
Yeah, that was the little girl.
Yeah, the little girl.
Yeah, I would say give a bit more backstory to her and have people, and stuff like that. Still focus on Frosty. And like I said, you just go from there.
Yeah, it could be something, I guess. What do you guys think?
I don't know. That's the only way I can see it working. Rudolph.
It could work like for a short period, but I don't know if it would have the legs to be like a feature-length film.
Maybe.
Like a TV special or something, or straight to DVD.
Yeah.
Or free on YouTube.
They should make us. They should make like original. Oh, go ahead, Don.
No, sorry, I was just making a joke that it should be a Netflix original set. Go ahead.
Yeah, they should make a movie where Rudolph revolts and murders Santa, and he tries to take over the North Pole.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'd actually like to see that would be something that could have a rated R twist for fun, like Rudolph or something, or have like the night Santa went crazy type of thing.
Has there ever been a North Pole horror movie?
There's been lots of Christmas horror movies, but
like Santa's Sleigh,
Satan Claus.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, but there was that one with Goldberg, Santa's Sleigh or something.
Oh yeah,
or there's
Krampus a couple of years ago.
Krampus, except that's a separate character in mythology altogether.
Yeah,
that's still Christmas though.
Yeah,
it is, but it's not Santa. It's a totally different individual.
Right, but I was just saying Christmas movies.
You were just asking about horror.
Oh, sorry.
I was like, what are you talking about?
See, the Grinch. Right. See, if they were to do the Grinch or Rudolph or something, or Frosty the Snowman as like a horror thing, that would be kind of funny, I guess. But the Frosty thing's kind of stupid, I guess, because they've already done that a few times and with some B horror movies, and it's really weird. He like has a. Do you guys see the Jack Frost horror film?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not the Disney one. The horror one.
Yeah.
breaking the carrot.
He's in the
off.
bathtub, and then the carrot's not on his nose.
Yeah, the carrot.
Oh my
That's
God.
all you have to say.
I remember that old too. Wow.
Uh,
And they had the stupid sequel.
yeah, with the littler. Oh my God, that's so stupid. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
like doing it once is one thing. Doing a sequel, and it's like,
But
geez, I gotta say this. You guys ever? I would have loved to have been a store clerk when the Disney one came out, and if you ever had a video of the horror one, and just swap it.
oh yeah, that would
no.
scare a lot
I
of
heard
children.
people
No,
did that all the time.
no. That would be that. See, that'd be messed up too if like somebody swapped out the like somebody went, I want to get the Disney Lion King. Okay, they give you the new one. Ah, fuck. Yeah.
I would
All
more.
the new Ghostbusters. Oh, we'll swap the Ghostbusters out. With
In the case of Lion King, I would put in Kimba.
Kimba.
Kimba the White Lion.
Kimbo
That's
Slice.
the original story that they ripped off.
The white tiger or whatever. Okay.
Yep.
The white lion. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I know what you're talking about, but the names, I don't ring one bell. I'm just like, huh? Who's the name? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think, in almost 3 hours.
Yep.
That was a little bigger of a group than I expected, honestly. I meant to have it be about this size so we can all get around more, but yeah, I wasn't sure who would all show up. So I was like,
No problem.
throwing to you, throwing to you, throwing to you. You're throwing out cards, and then it's like 7 people in here, and I'm like, oh shit.
You get an invite, and you get an invite, and your mother gets an invite.
Yeah, like I sent one.
Bro.
I sent one to you, Sith, thinking you'd be doing finals, but if you were gonna like pop on for like a little while or when you're done or something, that you'd come on.
Shit.
I was like,
Is
because
my cue to leave or something?
no, you're good. No, you're good.
Okay.
But yeah, I finished up my finals yesterday, and I thought you were doing your finals too this week or something. And
I had one today, and then I'm taking the rest of today off as like a breather, and then I finish next week.
Oh, okay. Oh, you still have all in the week? Ew.
Yeah, that's how my schedule is. It fucking sucks.
That sucks. But all right, yeah. So, but no, this is still good. But tomorrow I'm gonna try to have a total of 4 guests, like total, and just keep it at that.
Yeah.
And if somebody drops out, then I can invite somebody else in. So
Just take my advice. Just invite a number of people, have it be first come, first serve, and then if they don't make, and whoever says, hey, I'm free to do it, to say, can you be on standby?
Yeah, well, it's like it sucks because I do want to have a lot of people because I'm like, when I'm talking about a topic, I want to hear like Aruka's thing on the cartoon stuff. I want to hear yours and Midnight's things on the comic stuff. I want to hear like everybody's got a variety of things that they could say on a subject.
You should base the invites based on the topics you want to go over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the initial plan, but then like some people aren't sure if they can come, so then it's like, shit. So what's the backup? And I'm still getting to know more comic people for stuff like that, but there's never one topic that I go over. So this is why when I take my hiatus, I'm gonna iron out how I'm gonna do the streams so that there's a set rule of things and no confusion. And it's like, okay, here's some rules. Here we go. I'll probably go over them before we ever start the stream, so there's no confusion on what the topics are going to be or nothing. So
yeah, no Asian jokes.
Well, I mean, we need some here and there. Hero. We can't do one without a hero or
Sith, aren't you Lebanese?
Yeah.
There's already an Asian joke.
I'm gonna say lesbianese, but no.
Wait. I want to hear it. How?
No, I was just calling you the joke. You're Asian. You're Asian descent.
Hey, I was born in
Over your
America.
head.
I was born in America, dog.
Well, yeah, but like I'm black, you can rope me into like African or African American jokes or whatever. Like it's the same thing.
Yeah,
just
no,
went over your head.
I know what you mean. I guess we're technically Asian, technically.
Technically, and we're technically white. I don't know.
I guess we're all technically British.
Yep. All right. So for closing out though, Sith, I guess why don't you start? If you got anything you want to plug or talk about real quick, anything you want to say or whatever. Yeah.
Sure. My Twitter is @SithCryptoYT and sub to my channel, Sith Kryptonian. I'm gonna do a stream this Friday with the Senate, so come check it out.
Oh, you having a guest on there?
I'm thinking about it, but if not, I'll just.
Do you want me to throw you one? I've got quite a few people on that I'm waiting to schedule something with. I can see if they want to go on yours.
Yeah, DM me. I think Anomaly might come on, but if he can't make it, then I'll grab someone from you.
I suggested that if I'm not available, to check with you, because sometimes you stream quite a bit too, or you and Angus and stuff. I'm like, if you guys, because he's cool. He wants to be on more streams with us, but he's Australian time, so it's so opposite of our schedule and whatnot. I forgot to say that the Bandit Incorporated. Yeah, so I was watching his.
I love his videos.
I was watching his Creed 2 review, and he so now what he does, because he took a huge hiatus from YouTube for a while because of the adpocalypse last year, or at the beginning of the year. I don't remember when it was anymore, honestly. And he started to slowly come back and make some videos here and there, and he made his new Star Wars series of videos and whatnot, and some of his other ones. And now he's trying to do some reviews by doing live streams, and half of it is he'll do his review and then he'll invite his buddy Trilby on, and then he'll take callers to come in, kind of. I mean, callers as in like he'll, if people email him to come and hang out, he'll send a link or something, and people can come in. So there's only 20 people watching him, and he has 80,000 subscribers. And I'm like, I have more people. He had 20 people watching, and I'm like, I had 20 people watching my stream, and I have like a 0.0001% of his amount of subs. How is that possible?
Dude, that guy is who opened my eyes after The Force Awakens. And I was like, oh yeah, Ray doesn't make sense at all.
Yep.
Yeah, well, so I got onto it, and he doesn't live stream that often. I think when he does on the Movie Mania podcast with Trilby and the other guy, it's usually on one of their channels, really, or it's not him doing it. So he didn't. So when we came in, the couple of us were coming in, and he couldn't hear us because he had his headphones unplugged, or they're plugged into the mic, but it wasn't plugged in the computer or something. And so you're just talking, and we're talking, and we can hear him, but he can't hear us.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine how that would go.
And I put the video on so I can try to explain a little with my hand. Like, I'm trying to point at stuff, and trying to get into the chat group thing and trying to message him. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
we figured it out eventually at some point. And so I mean, like I said, I think he needs to learn a little bit about moderating, because there's one guy that, he's cool, but he just talks a lot, and he was on the last one that they did, and like he just would answer immediately without like letting anybody else respond. Just kind of like, okay, there needs to be an open floor when you're asking the questions, going in order or something, so that we can all get our say, because we're all guests on it. For his thing, and it's like, So I mean, I got some words in here and there and whatnot toward the end. He subscribed to me, which that was cool.
Oh, awesome.
I'm like, oh, sweet. And I'll probably, he said he might. I don't remember if he said that he'll invite me on next time, or he said if I'm in the chat next time and I want to come on in, he'll send another link or something. So that'd be cool if I could get to talk to him some more. I wanted him to be a guest on here. Like, that'd be cool.
Right.
And get to talk to him.
Eventually.
I feel like I want to convince him by going, you don't have to do any technology work. Just sit back, and I'll send the link, and you just, swipe your phone, and boom, you're in. Just be at lunch. But so I was on there for a little bit, and that was pretty cool. I was still just so shocked. He only had 20 people watching him at 80,000 subs.
Maybe he just started.
And at half of the time, I mean, look at Comic Book Hut.
Oh, I guess.
Over 1,000 subscribers, and yet he barely can make anyone.
Yeah, I guess. I don't really pay attention to him. I'm surprised.
No. I was just bringing that up as an example. Someone with a lot, and yet,
Yeah, well, like I can see, like even with the High Council and stuff, they get like 1,000 people onto their streams, but they have like 80,000 subscribers. But I mean, 1,000 is a more reasonable amount for people that are active and pay attention daily. I don't expect 80,000 people to be focused all the time during a live stream. So
yep. And well, it's like with me, I have over 600 going on 700 subscribers, and yet I know a majority of those are ones that have gathered up just casually looking at my old edited cartoon videos over the past 5 years before I started to become more active. So who knows how many of them are paying attention at all.
Exactly. But I mean, that's kind of why I like this group so far. I mean, even with my 300, when I had 150, I had at least 20 people that are pretty active in comments and talking and other chats and stuff. So got a nice community around here. So everybody comes around here. They pop in at least for a little bit, say hi. And that's what I try to do too. I can't sit and watch everybody's live streams. So I just go, hey, just saying hi, how's it going? Or if they're gaming, I don't really want to watch them play a game. So
right.
Pop in, leave a like, say something, and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but all right, enough about that. Robert, anything you want to close or promote or say?
Yeah, just go. Anyone in the chat that hasn't already, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to start doing things daily, more and more. Really hope I can keep it up. I already got a few ideas of what I'm going to review next before I finally get back to continuing my Scott Snyder video. Yeah, so just check me out and subscribe, please.
Yep. Yeah, you're going places, man, for sure. You'll
I
be
know.
getting there. Do you think you'll get to 1,000? How long do you think it'll take you to get? How long do you think it'll take to get to 1,000?
I don't know. The rate I'm going, I don't know.
Okay.
I knew it took me a lot quicker to get 1,000 followers on Twitter, but hey, that's easy. You get so many people who refollow you, and then
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't guarantee you much even if you have 1,000.
Yeah, true. Angus, what about you? Anything you want to plug? Say? Anything?
Let Don go first.
Okay.
Oh, I'm at Don876. I have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe to me if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. My channel focuses on movie reviews and gaming. I've got 2 reviews planned for the end of the year, hoping to get both of them out, with a bigger one to start the new year off. And then I do Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do a Let's Play gaming series. So, yeah, that's me. Thanks.
Did you post any videos recently?
Yeah, I just did a first part of and I'm going to do another one tomorrow of Mega Man, the original Mega Man on NES, a playthrough, trying to play through. So.
Nice.
Okay. Cool. Nice. And you're one of the ones that suffered through the holiday special.
Yes. I have a review on my site of the holiday special.
I've
seen it many times.
Why would you put yourself through that?
I've seen it many times, and I figured since coming into the community and starting to meet people here, I figured it would be a perfect review to jump on. So,
and you kept it pretty short too.
Yeah,
thank God.
Yeah, it's long enough to look at the footage for 20 minutes when you're not even watching it. I mean, it's entertaining still, but like Red Letter Media's is like over half an hour, and I'm like, oh God, this is how can you say this much about the film? My God,
exactly. There's just not that much there.
They literally just go around and watching stuff, and they're just playing with toys. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, what film?
The Star Wars Holiday Special. Angus.
Oh God! The only thing I watch is the Boba Fett shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like cartoon snippet.
I've still never seen that.
Review. Watch the Boba Fett cartoon and then forget the rest.
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
Indeed.
Hey, Seth, in my Boba Fett video at the end where it's like "See you around, friend" or whatever, that's from the holiday special.
Oh yeah, okay.
All right, well, Angus, it's your turn.
Yeah, well, once again, I'm here with the Rookie Critic as always. I love being a co-host, someone in the background, and a mod. I'm actually thinking for my channel. Well, me and Sith are both close to 200 subs, so please come to our channel, sub, enjoy our content. I cover film philosophy in the NFL. I'm thinking about actually. I've always been intimidated because I am an atheist, but I do appreciate religion still, in a fascination kind of way. And I've always been intimidated about making content in that third of my channel because you think philosophy, especially with religion, you think you got to make very detailed scripts and research and this and that, and you should, if you're talking about if you're trying to about like a deep topic or something. But I'm thinking about actually approaching it from more of a just like a common man perspective of reason and thinking, and hopefully it's something that you might come by and appreciate the challenge maybe of thought if you are religious. My goal isn't to deter you from your religion whatever you have, but it's to make you invest deeper, because a lot of people just fall in the fold of whatever religion they have, and don't ever think about like the complications, the red tape that the religion imposes when you take into account science or ethics or what have you, when you're reconciling things. And so, I try to channel that in my philosophy of Thanos video, where if you pay attention, it's like, wow, you're saying some crazy stuff, but like really think about it. Really read the Old Testament and compare it to like the story of Thanos, and like with God powers, literary form of a person who seems more benevolent in their actions. I want you to be challenged, and hopefully you can have a better conversation about whatever religion you have. I'll mainly focus on Christianity because I grew up Christian and I'm an American, and that's the religion that affects us the most. So that's why I'll be most critical, not to attack it because it's a popular thing to do or anything. I don't like that avenue. I appreciate it, but yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to in the future. I'm also looking forward to maybe doing, if I can finish reading enough of the book I have from Playboy, doing a thing about Hugh Hefner being an underrated and unsung civil rights hero, not just for the civil rights era, but for art in general. What would the landscape look like today? Would Paris Hilton be a big thing? You know, things that we take for granted with like sex selling in the media. What would have happened if Hugh Hefner wasn't around to challenge the status quo in the media?
Right.
So that's something I'm thinking about working on. And it's really it. I just appreciate being on here with the Rookie and Sith and all these people, meeting new people. And I'm really happy to be part of the collective, and I appreciate y'all's feedback and following, and talk to me on Twitter. I'm available throughout the day, every day. I want to get to know y'all more than just people that watch my stuff and what have you.
Gotcha.
Hell yeah, man. Well, good. Well, good old co-host. Yep. I thought Sith wanted the job, but nah, just kidding.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you guys need to fight. You guys need to fight for it. Nah.
Fight to the death.
Yes.
I will eat you, Angus. I will eat you.
You need my ass.
Never mind. You could have the job.
Yeah. Lazy Asian.
I'm a vegan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. No meat. But yeah. So my an update on my skit trilogy that I'm working on. It's just about done. I just need to film one more thing tomorrow, and I just need 2 more people to send in some of their parts, and then I'll just be able to edit that within a day and be able to hopefully post it by this weekend. But it depends if they give me their parts this weekend to actually put it together. It's the part 2 is a little longer than I thought it was going to be. Part 3 is going to be like really long because I asked so many people to be a part of it, and it's a lot of work to put in.
I was gonna say, like, you went really ham, like giving everyone parts.
I gave way more people than I thought, and even some of the bigger YouTubers have contributed, and it's pretty awesome. Doomcock's in it. His actual lines in it, and Mecha Random gave in a little part, and still waiting to hear back from a few other people to see if they're gonna do it or not. If they're busy, I don't blame them, but they're at least I kept their part to where it's not important, but if they're in it, I could put them in, and it's not gonna matter. So
right,
yeah, put it in.
Just like fun cameos.
Yeah, just some little cameos, but I couldn't think of how else to put everybody in, so it's just going to be all in one clump for the most part. But
gotcha.
But Bandit Incorporated actually made a funny little line. He's like, "Hey, you could use some sound bites," and he started saying random stuff, and I'm like, "I guess I'll take those." So I was going to give him lines to say, but he's like, "No, just say these," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll just do that." So that'll be funny. So now I'm just going to write in a part where I say something, or where I interact with what he's saying. It's like, what the hell? Okay.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, this is about the end of the stream anyway. Thank you guys for sticking around. Mr. Pete, Adam Shahan, Hallmark Channel, Jeremy, the Shahan Bros, everybody else in here before, right? Kitty, Open-Minded Movie Man. There's a lot of new people in here today, too, I saw. There's also Proper Jeremy, of course. Moist. There's some new people. The Raggedy Man.
Moist is here?
Or no, I don't know what I said. The Moist. God damn it, Jeremy. Somebody else. You know what I mean? Somebody else I recognize. Laura, it's a short story. All those people. Have a good one. I have another one